Greetings, everyone. And welcome to a confusion edition of Monster Party.
Monster Party!
Monster Party! Monster Party!
It's a real party.
Now
it's an actual party.
Real party.
Oh my
Actual
God.
in-person party.
It's an in-person person.
It's an in-person person. It is.
It's an in-person episode. We have food. We have drinks. We have our significant others.
We have some
ladies. My wife just pointed to her ample breasts. Yeah, they're ample. And yes, obviously, Carrie and Gina are here, as well as my sister-in-law, Stephanie Bordeaux. And we have one of our fans and friends, Jim Jenkins, is here.
Yes, Jim Jenkins. But why are all these people here?
Why are they here?
Yes.
Well, we're not at that place now, but we are celebrating and we are attending the 2023 San Diego International Comic-Con.
Yeah, 2023 Comic-Con, San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
And who are you, sir?
I am Matt Weinhold.
I am SHAWN SHERIDAN.
I'm Larry Strothe.
And I'm James GONIS.
I'm so excited.
Yes. And why are you excited? What have you done?
Well, no. Because I want to say,
wow. Already in trouble.
No, for
Negative.
people,
Right off
That was quick.
For all you regular listeners out there,
You regular listeners.
Joes.
You've listened. Okay, will you please? You listen to the show, and it's like, oh, they're doing the whole Zoom thing. We are here in the same room.
Okay, it's not the same room, right? You didn't get the same room
No,
as last
he
year.
means just that we are all physically together in the same room.
See,
In one
I'm
room.
literal.
But he is right, though. We are also in the same hotel that we were
Same
in last
hotel.
year for last year's Comic-Con. This is the same hotel.
But we're in this. We're all in
Together.
the room with
Yes.
the microphones.
We're
We're not
physically.
like,
this is not Zoom.
No,
This is not right. We're
and
actually
I
all
can
together.
see you. I can
know.
touch you. I can.
We can punch each other if you want to.
Yes,
And that's
I
true.
can give
And
you
that's
a little,
likely to happen.
A little ribbing,
Yeah.
Little Indian rope burn.
What I love is,
Yeah.
we have Larry's in his Monster Party t-shirt, and so is Sean and myself. And then we've got James still in his Jor-El costume, which I
is
like
awesome.
it because
Awesome.
it gives it just this level of class,
Yeah.
of authority.
Well, can we start with that?
Sure.
Because
You had a special day today.
No, because I want to go out on a limb here. For listeners who know that when you listen to our Comic-Con episode, sometimes James goes out and he does this little cosplay thing, and for years,
Little thing he
years,
does.
Yeah, little- His little sad, pathetic little...
No, but for
Cry
years,
for help.
James has been saying, Larry, come on, why don't you come with me and let's do cosplay together. Well, believe it or not, Matt,
Yes.
this year, I said, when he said he was going to do Jor-El, from our 1978 Superman, Christopher Reeve and Marlon Brando, and I said, I have a Superman costume that I had when my daughter was really small, and I still have it. He goes, oh, Larry, you could bring it. We could be Superman Jor-El. I brought the costume,
Right.
and I was on the fence, and James tipped
And then you
me-
flew off it.
He tipped me over, and I said, I'm going to wear my Superman costume.
Well, look, I didn't want the hard sell. I didn't want to be pushing you too hard because then you'd be like, oh, this is just James, trying to manipulate things. I needed to make sure that this was your decision. That this was something you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you did.
And
By
it was
the time
a
you did it,
success, too.
Well, Matt, I have to tell you, walking with James, it was so much fun. I dressed up as Superman, and I'm walking through, and right off the bat,
in the shuttle bus.
in the shuttle bus. So we get on the shuttle bus. We're heading over, and this Australian lady looks at us. Oh, hello. Oh, can I get a picture of you? And she takes the photo, and she knew exactly who we were.
So wait a minute.
And then she
an Australian lady without an Australian accent.
Well, well.
How did you know she was? Did she?
Because she
did
told
she show
us
you her? Oh, I thought maybe she showed her
but
passport.
then what
or
was
something.
really funny, we said, she says, I'm here for Comic-Con, and we came without our kids. We're really bad parents.
We left our Roo at home.
She said, it was funny because she goes, we went to Disneyland too, and we're really bad parents, but I see other parents with kids, and I go, sucker, and it was really funny. But
That sounds
but
funny.
right from the very beginning,
Yeah.
We were getting photos.
You were a hit.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah, I
But-
saw some of the footage and the pictures.
Yes.
and I saw you, of course, in person in
Yeah.
the outfits.
Yeah.
and I thought it was great. I love the fact that you guys got that together. And
Sure.
but next year, I promised. I'm promising you now.
Oh.
I will do it.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
You heard it
You
here.
heard it here, folks. But
Yeah.
Matt, we have to tell you probably one of the best moments that we had as Jarrell and Superman. So, of course, we're dressed up as, these superheroes. We're going to go to the DC booth.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
they have new Superman figures there for sale.
Sure.
So we go on over to the booth, and there's this beautiful Superman figure. I go, oh, James, can you get a picture of me in front of it? I'm going to do the same pose. And James, oh, sure. And right away, a DC rep.
Yeah, a young woman, and she asked you, "Can I get a picture of you posing with that figure for DC?"
Yeah, and
Nice.
they were going to send it out. I'm like, oh, I got so excited. Oh, yeah, I'll do the same pose.
Great.
And so I get in the pose, and I point to James. I go, and look, he's dressed as, look who he's dressed as. And she looks at him and goes, oh, great.
She had no idea.
She had no
Now
idea.
that's the scary part.
Yeah,
but-
No,
right.
you got to
but-
be a certain age. That's the thing.
Because because
No.
listen to me. Because kids today, like my daughter, they
Oh,
grew
here
up
we
with
go.
they grew up
With the reefer
the
and
Henry
the-
with the Henry Cavill and the
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe,
Right.
And he's wearing a completely different outfit.
That's
so
true,
we
yes.
can't blame her that much, but it
I'm
was
not gonna blame
funny.
her.
Thing is, but
As soon as, just really quick, Sean. But as soon as she said that, James and I are laughing. She takes the photo. There's an older guy who's there at DC, and he says to us, "You guys are my Superman." Do you remember that?
Nice. Yeah, that's-
they
that's-
know. They
that's
know.
just great.
Yeah, but that's a shame. Like, I think if younger generations watched the Christopher Reeve, the first Superman,
yeah.
it holds up beautifully. I mean, yes, it's not, doesn't have the kind of all the digital effects that we have now, but it's a great movie, and he's such a great Superman. And
Yeah.
it is kind of surprising though, especially if you're working at the DC booth in San Diego.
yes, yeah,
like you
yeah.
kind of should have some idea.
I would like to ask you a question about that, because I always wonder, how like with Psycho, I think when they remade Psycho, the idea was they were going to make a new version, shot for shot like Hitchcock, but it would be in color and it'd have actors that younger people would recognize. And so it'd be like Psycho for the new generation.
Right.
So what I'm wondering is, if you took Superman, and I'm not saying adding digital effects, but if you just cleaned it up and showed it to a kid now, do you think that they would go, oh, that's great?
Well, if you think about it, it takes place in 78, 79. So
Yeah.
there's no
So there's-
cellular phone.
Yeah,
They,
that's-
they wouldn't be able to relate to the
Well,
phone booth. And,
Which I remember being in that theater, guys, and when Superman walks to the payphone
Yeah,
and it's not
that
a
was
booth and he
hilarious.
does the look, the audience
Yeah.
busted up.
But also-
no one would have that same reaction. to
Right.
it.
so the idea that nobody understands or is even curious about the past is scary to me.
Yeah, and also that Superman very beautifully used existing contemporary New York as Metropolis.
Right.
That I thought worked really well.
Yes.
And I just don't know if, but I will say though, the original Superman, like when the dam breaks and all that, there are some iffy model shots.
Oh, yeah.
that kind of stuff.
You could clean it up a
That
little
maybe,
bit.
yeah.
right?
I think you could almost in a way that like the original Star Trek episodes were cleaned up with.
Oh, for the
yes.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Maybe
one
that you
versions,
could do
yeah.
that with the original Superman. I don't know, but it's still for us at least. I mean,
Do we need to explain this again to James? The whole Star Trek thing of like.
I don't think
No.
it's necessary.
but
Yeah, I know. Someday they'll do it for the Rockford Files, and so don't worry about it.
yeah, but that I could see doing, because the movie is just so good. It has so much heart and great moments in it and great performances. That's still to me the best Superman film.
The fact that no one is curious about the 70s, what's not that long ago?
One of the best decades for cinema, by the way, too.
We watched, okay,
best
forget
decade.
about the aversion to black and white, which is a whole nother thing that is
Right.
frightening. But you're going to go back in time and watch a color movie that takes place in the past. Like, that's so, like could a kid watch, for example, North by Northwest? Because I saw, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to say kid, but like 16.
Right.
I think I would have loved North by
Yeah.
Northwest at that age. I
Yeah.
saw it in my 20s for the first time. But how? Why? And I guess it's just this jadedness of that if everything you see has this CGI overproduced gloss to it, then you associate that with being good. That's the only. If it's not
It's like
this,
a real
it's
movie.
not good.
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't want to, jump on the, lady who didn't know who James was exactly.
I think we have.
I'm gonna get her name.
But
that's not good.
There's so many character stuff, but it was great in the costume to be acknowledged by people at the DC
Yes.
booth.
Well, and the impact of having both the Superman and Jor-El costumes side by side, which certainly, if it's rare to see Jor-El from '78, certainly rare to see Jor-El with Superman side by side. So we made that impact, and that was wonderful. It was so much fun.
The one thing I will say is the experience was really fun because James and I were sharing it at the same time. I would say I'd want to do something like that again, where we're from the same movie or something.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
So I will probably do it again next year.
Okay, well then that is a perfect lead-in to. Now you did a couple's cosplay.
Yeah.
If we all did it, we should do a group thing
Yes.
because that'll have the biggest impact.
Yes.
You've done Jor-El a couple times. You did the Boardwalk Empire.
Right.
You did the Michael Myers Star Trek, which is
Mashup.
great.
Yeah, which I did the
Inspired.
last couple of days, which was also great fun.
Yeah, no, that one's great. And then you did Snake Plissken.
Right.
Okay, so is there one that we could do that would not be like just ridiculously hard?
I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
Well, there happens to be someone at this show who is dressed as Roy Scheider as Chief Brody from Jaws, and he's carrying around a stuffed shark.
Oh, we saw that.
And he was great. He looked the part. Well, what if we did? If Larry was the shark, because he's got a shark costume.
I do.
And Matt, if you were Quint, and if Sean was Brody, and if I were Hooper, that would be freaking awesome.
I do like this.
That's interesting.
I do like this.
I like it too
interesting,
because it doesn't require too much like wearing a
Too much.
mask.
Yeah, we don't have to make a. We don't
just have to wear
Ted
glasses.
Haynes doesn't have to foam fat. Well, maybe
Yeah.
the shark.
No, but I have a shark costume. So
yeah, but what if we got a really
real shark
high-end one?
costume?
Wow.
We wouldn't even have to, because by the time, it's just a group thing. You already know exactly what we're doing.
No,
you know?
Yeah.
Well, look, we'll think about this.
Can I ask you about your shark costume, though?
Yes.
Describe it, please.
It looks like a shark.
And I need a little bit more. Is it so? For example, is it one of those costumes that you fill it with air, kind of thing?
No, it's a shark costume where the shark head, the whole body comes over me, and I have like little fins.
Oh, that's
and then
that'd be
in the
funny.
mouth, that's where I could see out of. But I could put a red thing or a black thing.
And you know what would be great is that if we had.
An arm or a leg hanging
Well,
out.
I like that. What if one of us or somebody had a little microphone with a speaker, and that whenever you're resting and taking a break, we go, "The shark is not working. The shark is not working."
That's a possibility. But I like that. But look,
I like that idea.
But
That's great.
listeners, if you're just tuning in now, it's like Matt has
stop
just
portraying
decided.
this.
Matt has just decided that we're going to do a cosplay something next year. So if you have some ideas, if you don't like this one, why don't you send us some ideas?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we'd love some ideas.
great.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from our listeners. Yeah.
So look, we talked about our cosplay. Can you tell me a bit about some of your experiences, like today or yesterday? How long have you guys been here?
Yeah, I mean, Gina and I have been here since Thursday.
Wow.
And we've seen some pretty awesome costumes. Gina, what are some of the cooler costumes you've seen? She's like, what?
Fill in answer later.
Because I'm trying to remember which ones we saw.
Carrie has seen some costumes.
We saw Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Mary
Okay.
Poppins.
Mary Poppins with Bert, the chimney sweep.
Yeah, Stephanie.
The multiverse Spider-Man villains.
Multiverse Spider-Man. Wow,
villain.
that's cool.
Okay.
The villains. So like Vulture,
The giant guy.
Hawkman.
not Hawkman.
Well, I saw
It's
Hawkman.
Marvel.
No,
Well-
it's the multiverse Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man. The bad Spider-Man, the Spider-Man.
This is
It's
great.
a flying Spider-Man.
This is great.
This is
Wow.
See, you
Boy,
bring someone else into the show.
I saw a good Moon Knight.
A Moon
yeah,
Knight.
yeah.
Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I saw that Moon Knight. He was
Also,
great.
Also, we saw 3 female Moon Knights.
I see them all the time.
3 sexy female new Moon
Yeah.
Knights. which
When
are
someone
cool.
hits me on the head with the hammer, I see Moon Knights.
I thought more than any other single character, at least female cosplay wise, Scarlet Witch. There were a lot of Scarlet
Really?
Witches this year.
I didn't see
I don't
one.
see
I saw
any.
a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I didn't, we
same
haven't.
here.
We noticed that we hadn't seen a lot of stormtroopers. I saw a few,
Yeah.
but not as many as I was expecting.
You know, Matt, you bring up a good point because, let's talk briefly about the big elephant in the room here. As we're doing this, there is an actor strike, there is a writer strike,
Right.
and there were a
Yes.
lot of
Yes,
people
yes.
thinking, you know what, there are 130,000 people going to Comic-Con. Oh my gosh, no one's going to go. Well, guys, it went from 130,000 to 100,000. What I did notice, at least to me, in the past, like Saturday's really crowded. To me, I felt that there was some
it was
space.
A little better.
A little bit. It was the crowds were a little more manageable. I mean, yes, it's always crowded, but it wasn't like, oh my god, you're stuck.
At the other end, near like Funko and
the Funko.
Yeah.
that
Village,
end got pretty wild. To me.
Yeah. But in general, not too claustrophobic.
No.
And the thing I love is sure, we love to see the celebrities there and stuff, but did you have a feeling that it was really like more towards comics?
Yeah, it
you
was
know?
more towards comics. It reflected the roots of Comic Con,
Grassroots.
Yeah.
Yes, and it felt a little more homey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. No, I liked it, and I've been having a good time. Carrie and Stephanie and I, we drove down on Friday. We had a nice drive. We got In-N-Out, a delicious burger. I don't know if you've ever had one. Really good.
Yeah.
And we got gas. We got some ice. It was magical. It was like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And then we got to the hotel, actually Carrie got to the hotel, checked us all in, which was kind of a nightmare. And I'm not going to go into that, but Stephanie and I went right into the convention hall and just started going down rows. Wow. And then Stephanie brought me to this gaming area.
Wait,
You
went to the gaming area?
I went to the gaming. Now, normally when I go to the gaming area of the convention, I just kind of look around and go, well, this is bright and flashy and fun. But I don't really understand it, but I like it. I don't dislike it. There's statues of stuff,
Sure.
and there's a bunch of guys in a row of games, and they're all hitting their controllers, and they just I just go, these people seem happy.
Yeah, with helmets on. They're in their own little world.
Sometimes helmets, sometimes not, but I salute it.
Is that Stephanie's thing?
Stephanie is a big gamer. In fact, Stephanie, could you come over here and just talk to us a little bit?
We have Stephanie
we
the
have
gamer
Stephanie
here.
Bordeaux.
Stephanie Bordeaux.
Here she is.
Hey.
Now she is by the way, she is the daughter of John Bordeaux, who provides us with those wonderful story collections for Patreon.
We love those.
Yes.
Stephanie, thanks for being with us.
Hey,
Thank you.
So
Can we talk about your game experience
this
here?
gaming thing, what is it? How is it? Why is it?
Well, I mean, no. So you went to the game place and you go, hey, look at these games. And
Is that what happened? Is that what happened? I want to know. Did you come in and go, hey,
come on.
hey, games?
So to make it clear, I'm a console gamer. I have friends who are PC gamers. We get along very well because there's a whole thing called cross-platform.
And so cross-platform means that you play with a bunch of other people?
No matter what device they're playing on.
I like
There
that.
you
It's
go.
universal.
Yes.
That's good. I like
Wow.
So I have a couple of so games have publishers,
Okay.
and I had some publishers I was very interested in visiting.
Okay. And what was the there was one that you went to immediately and you seemed to be very happy about what happened. And there was a guy there who was chatting you up, and I just felt like I was watching two people speak in Esperanto.
So that was when we were at the Capcom booth.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Okay, that's
Correct.
Capcom.
And I asked if they had anything from Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah.
And they had not only had something from Monster Hunter Rise, but also another game that I played, and you learned how Amaterasu is actually in a game that looks like watercolors.
Yes. Very pretty.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
highly recommend. The remastered version came out last year.
Okay.
Anyway, but he and I talked about Monster Hunter Rise together, and you witnessed the two of us talk about farming in a game. Farming. We talked about how high we had leveled weapons, and at one point we described an incident where both of us lamented that we had to kill an awful lot of cats to get the parts that we needed for a specific set of gloves, which are armor in the game. And weapons.
And then like a single tear went down my cheek.
Real cats?
Well, not real. They're in a game.
But are they cats, or is that cats a name for like,
they're
monsters?
They're tiny little cats wearing robes that tend to steal things from you anyway.
Oh, so they're bad
Yeah.
cats.
So kind of like Jawas.
But they're kitty cats.
But they're kitty cats.
Okay.
Which I think Star Wars would have been a lot better if they had been kitty cats.
If they'd been kitty cats? Yes.
Because just every time they get out of the big tank thing, I just go, oh.
All right, so you had to kill a lot of cats to get armor. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
But
All right.
he listened to the two, and then he listened to the two of us discover, because this game is not cross-platform, discover we're on different platforms. And
Okay. Yeah, it was an introduction to a world that I don't really visit.
Yeah.
I think I stopped my gaming at not even. Was Super Mario, was that like, there's the Nintendo.
Right. He's
The-
actually on the newest version of Nintendo, which is now called the Switch.
Okay, right. So yeah, I mean, I gave up. There was one point where I was playing Mario Brothers, and I spent like about 3 hours doing it. And I remember at one point I just went, I gotta stop this because I will never leave this house ever again if I keep. I got really emotionally invested.
Wow.
So I can imagine, because I know these games are great, but I just feel like I would care about them too much that I know myself I would become obsessed.
Yeah, very easy. Very, very easy.
But see, you go out and you handle your job and friends and
Most people I game with do. They're
that's impressive.
adults with jobs, children,
Unbelievable. Pets.
Wow.
pets. Yeah.
Yeah, I would start playing the game and look at my cat and go, hey, and then go back to the game and I'd look back and it would be a skeleton.
One of the most awarded independent games lets you be a cat.
Guys, this could be it. This is the one.
But there's a
Or
lot
cool
of,
cats.
Okay, this is great because there's a lot of cats do a lot of sleeping, and I wanted to get back to Comic-Con. Stephanie, so you're hanging out in the game area. Was there anything else you saw that was kind of cool?
The skull. Well, I don't want to spoil things. I feel like.
Well, can you give us broad strokes?
So the manga that you bought me, which was fantastic, that we both loved, and we're talking about the whole time.
The Junji Ito, Uzumaki.
Uzumaki, right? And I think I've been telling the story about how I've seen, people do some random crafts of that thing, and then they get really excited. I'm like, oh, I know what this is, and
Yeah.
cool. But we found
A bunch of stuff.
a bunch of stuff around the convention
These
for
cool
that.
bus.
Yes.
Junji Ito has sort of exploded.
He has.
There's
Suddenly
a
now.
walkthrough event at the convention.
Yes.
For one thing, and there's also all these tie-in items, these licensed Junji Ito items that I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
At that table, there were some Gashapon-esque figures that with the mystery box where you don't know what you're going to get. And so I got a couple of those, but then James found yet another booth that was doing Junji Ito mystery boxes.
So we're going to that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I already bought 2 boxes, but I need more.
Okay. All right.
Crazy.
The twisted imagination of Junji Ito and how he can make something that I like horrific that I never would have thought of.
Well, Matt, I know we've talked about it briefly, but for listeners who don't know, what is Junji Ito?
Junji Ito is this amazing manga artist writer, and he's been working in this field for quite a while, but I would say probably his 2 most famous things are Uzumaki and Tomi.
Yes.
Tomi is the story of this young, strangely alluring girl who was murdered and comes back for vengeance. But how she comes back is very odd because she can grow copies of herself out of her own body. For example, like a copy will bubble out of the side of her neck and then become a person. Crazy shit like that. But it's Uzumaki, which is the one that is the... I mean,
Right.
bonkers.
And even if you don't think you're gonna like manga, I highly recommend. And also, I mean, this just fits in my wheelhouse of, there's something special about pure black and white comics that when they don't rely on this. I mean,
Yes.
and so many of my all-time favorites, in fact, my number one, Torso, pure
right,
black and
yes.
white.
Brian Michael Bendis. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just got to remember which order to flip the pages in.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. No, I'm so happy that you brought up the black and white thing, because Junji Ito takes this black and white artwork and weaves it into this dark, nightmarish hellscape that I don't think would be as effective in color.
Yeah.
But so the Uzumaki story is that in this town, all of a sudden spirals start appearing. And the spirals take over everything. So they're in someone's face, and their face starts to spiral. And that's one of the art pieces that we saw, is this woman whose face has spiraled in on itself to, like, the only thing she has is like this one eye left, and this spiral that's dug into her head.
Wow.
And now spirals start showing up in someone's hair, and it's always
In
it's never a
artwork.
good thing. Yeah.
No,
No, it's always terrible, horrible. And how that story concludes is so bizarre and amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, check out anything by Junji Ito.
That's
I
cool.
mean, no matter what you read, you'll be pleased, especially if you're a horror fan.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, you know how James had said about how, suddenly there's this kind of resurgence or this suddenly appearance of all this Junji Ito stuff. Same thing, to me, I'm noticing with the toys, Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Suddenly, like, several different companies are putting out Mechagodzilla, like the classic Toho Mechagodzilla.
From the
it's just
70s.
like, yeah.
Well,
It's like,
Super 7, for
Super
example.
7.
Now,
Yeah.
the funny thing, Sean, is they came out with, or they said, hey, there's this new, like, Shogun-esque large Mechagodzilla that was going to come out.
Oh my God,
that
it's
it was like-
amazing.
and
Yeah.
I ordered it last year. They have it here, but it's not for sale. It's just, this is what it's going to look like, and hopefully it's going to be shipped out in the next couple months.
Right.
But it was next to, like, this see-through.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Matt! Did you see that?
Yes, it's
It was
so
like
gorgeous.
see-through plastic. The shape of the Mechagodzilla is there, but then you could see the inside,
All
of
the
all the
mechanisms. and-
Gosh, it was so
Yeah,
cool.
that thing is beautiful.
And
Do you know
that's-
how much that costs? Did you ask?
I'm trying.
It's like $300.
It's got to be
Yeah,
$300.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's so
though.
gorgeous.
and that's
Yeah,
Ultra
yeah.
7, right?
Yeah,
And
Super
Mondo.
7.
Super 7 and
yeah.
Ultra 7, yeah. But and then Mondo, another company, has other awesome.
Couple of cool
we
mechas.
visited that booth,
Yeah.
and one of the artists who does some of the sculpting, specifically the Mechagodzilla ones,
Oh wow, he was there.
he wants to come on our show.
Oh, awesome!
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. We
Will
told
he
him
bring
about
free
it.
product?
Oh, God, I hope so.
But-
But they sold a lot. There's some of those figures sold out immediately.
Wow,
Really?
But
Yeah.
the thing is that the design of the Mechagodzilla is so awesome because if you look at the newer when they brought back Mechagodzilla like in the 80s and 90s,
Sure.
Yeah.
that design just isn't. It's okay, but it's just not.
It's too sleek.
It's too
Yeah.
sleek. It's
It's
just
too
not
modern.
that
And then,
interesting.
and then you look at the latest one with Godzilla versus Kong. I mean,
They're trying to copy
it's,
the
it's
original.
interesting, but there's something about that first one.
Yeah,
Sean. I
it's
love
just amazing.
the robot, the thick-
rivets.
Yes,
Yeah, the rivet with the
Rivet.
sharp
Thick
edges
steel.
to it.
Yes.
and it looks mean, and
Well,
like
the
it's
one
just-
at the Mondo booth, what they did was this guy does this just gorgeous work. And what he did was he gave Mechagodzilla, like, it's still the rivets and everything, but
Yeah.
he gave it this sort of tiki-ness.
kind of, yeah.
And it's
just
really cool. So he has one that is gray, and then he has another one that's almost like a bone color.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
And I look at him, and I was like, in a perfect world, I would want both of these
Yeah,
because they're
yeah.
both cool. Like, one
really
has the more
awesome.
mechanical look, but yeah,
Yeah.
the Mondo stuff is incredible.
yeah, great stuff. They're really good.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you bring up Tiki because,
yeah.
gosh, it's like, doesn't it seem like this year there's a lot of Tiki-esque stuff?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yep.
And it's James and I, we went by, was it the Tiki?
Geeky Tiki.
Tiki. And,
Yeah.
and first of all, I saw some stuff that was really cool. But I thought, my God, how many tiki mugs am I going to have? We saw Raiders.
But they had a whole line of new Indiana Jones tiki mugs. I mean, a lot of them, a lot of different scenes from all the different movies. It'd be impossible, I think, to even collect them all. But
I just got the Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
But James, was
I'm gonna make it into a Fleabag one.
Was there a special one? There was a special. We heard about that.
Well, there was the idol, the fertility idol,
Yeah,
and that
right.
was a limited edition. It was like $100.
Yeah.
And they were selling out of those.
Did you get one?
No,
And we got here Wednesday night, and we went to preview night,
yeah,
and bang, gone. And but I will tell you this, Matt and Sean, when we got here, we went straight to. Well, we went to Super 7, but we went to the NECA booth.
Right.
You remember that? Because,
Right.
if listeners know how I have this issue with, special exclusives, and people like...
They buy 'em up.
They buy them
Yeah.
and sort of sell them on eBay. So get this. So we run. Well, we didn't run, but we,
Dashed.
We made a beeline.
We made a beeline
Skipped.
to NECA because... In NECA, their exclusive, one of the exclusives is a creature from the Black Lagoon, glow-in-the-dark matte, and it's done in the same style as the 1980s Remco creature. Now, it's larger. It's 8 inches.
Oh, yeah.
And it's articulated,
Yep.
but the style of the card, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, Matt, I was so excited. And, of course, we get there, and... James and I stand in line, and the con has this announcement that goes, "We're closing in 15 minutes." We're like, oh my God, are we going to get there? We were like one of the last ones.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I get 2.
Right.
But would you believe, I get onto eBay that night just to see. And sure, I picked up one for $30, and they're already on eBay for $80, $90.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Because
that's
some
nuts.
bastard, they think, I'm going to get a bunch of these. I'm going to sell. And I hate those people.
Larry, when we arrived, when Stephanie and I were walking around going to the booths, we went to one and they had it there. And I didn't really understand that was the one that they were selling at the
NECA booth,
At the NECA booth, right? So I look at it, $70.
Yeah.
So they went and bought it.
While it's still available.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
they bought it and brought it to their booth.
Yes.
And that's, do you remember years ago when I went to get my daughter the Weberella and I'll never forget going to stupid Mattel and having them.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
It's too bad
Yes.
they can't
Oh, yeah.
somehow police that, but I guess there really isn't a way to do
I don't,
that.
how do you
I
do that?
don't know, but here's
Yeah.
what I hope. Here's what I hope, Sean. I hope that there are plenty of those exclusives out there. So people like me, those regular Joes who like the creature, hopefully they'll be able to pick it up for $35, or they can, maybe the ones out there that are a lot of money, no
Right.
one will buy them, and so hopefully
Yeah.
because there'll be so many or something.
Larry, by the end of the day, which is when I got mine today, they still had them.
Yeah.
NECA, you got to say for
Yeah.
NECA, they bring a lot of stock. They don't
And
tend to
that's-
run out of
Yeah.
their
Right.
exclusives.
That is
That
true.
is great. Now I'm mad at Sean.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Well, no,
get in
actually,
line.
no,
Get
I'm
in
not.
line,
you know what? I'm
know?
not mad at Sean. It's James I'm mad at.
Why?
And I'm mad at James, and it's just a childish, anger, but a jealousy, really.
Oh.
And it's because he picked up that glow blueberry. And I waited too long. I got sidetracked. I didn't get it yesterday.
Yeah.
And they were all sold out, and it was like $20, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But-
Well, and I did.
and he pre-ordered it.
because I purposely did not want to get in the situation where I'm rushing to the booth and they're all sold out. We pre-ordered ours the day before we came to Comic-Con.
Well,
so.
it's made by a company called Jada, and they had done
Yeah.
the Frankenberry and Chocula.
Beautiful.
Beautiful work. But see, if I really thought that it was going to be that hard to get, I would have hooked you up, Matt. I would have
Of course you would.
wait,
But
James.
I believe
James, you're a sweet man, and you always think of us.
I do believe that that's going to be pretty readily available.
I think so. I think
I don't think-
the other two still are.
Yeah,
So
and that's
I
why.
didn't know that you would want the booberry. Really? Are you a big
glow in the
boo-
dark. It's
Glow-
awesome.
glow in the dark,
I know.
Larry.
We all know Matt loves glow in the dark.
love the
And
glow.
Matt, I will commit right now. If you cannot find one, you can have mine.
Well, that's no. I can't do that.
See,
No, I would insist.
See, he's
Well,
a saint.
what if I traded you something for it?
But whatever the terms,
Why don't you give
it's
him-
yours.
Why don't you give him $40 for it or something?
Or 60.
What's happening? Thanks, Larry.
No, I'm just
No. I'm telling you. I have faith that there's plenty of those out there, and they're going to be easy to get. So
Well,
$40
you know,
to $80 on eBay.
no.
So- So, James, we've got something that's I think been going for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
So we went to Japan, and there were all these. At the time, there were a bunch of these, not too expensive secondhand Ultramen on crucifixes.
Oh, yeah.
From a special episode of
Right.
Ultraman Ace.
Yeah.
The Easter
And-
special.
Exactly. All right. They play it every Easter. Not a dry eye in the house.
Right.
A lot of converts after that one. So I got one. He got one, but they were different Ultramen.
Right.
And so over time, I picked up like 3 of them, and I'm missing one. And it's the one that James has. No. But James loves it, and I don't want to. No way do I want his. But what I want to do, James said, if I find him another one, doesn't matter which one, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that he'll trade me.
Yeah. I just want an Ultraman on the
Yes,
crucifix.
and so that's been my thing. And there have been times where they've come up on eBay and they're either way too expensive because I know if I go to Japan they'll be
Yeah.
a fourth of the price.
Yeah,
right.
At least,
Yeah.
or it's like it's somebody off the cross now, and it's like that's not what you want.
When you were talking about the Geeky Tikis,
Yeah.
one awesome new Geeky Tiki that came out is the Great Garloo. Which is like, of all things, is like a couple years back they put out a miniature version of and of course this is a classic 60s toy.
From Marx.
That was, the original remote control was huge.
Yeah, like
and,
ogre.
Yeah.
It's a really cool green, it's a cool monster, and they put out a little figure, and so now they put out, not only did they put out Tiki mug, which is awesome, but there's also another different company putting out just another miniature figure that glows in the dark of Great Garloo.
Another glow in the dark.
Yeah.
I tell you, glow in the dark.
So now we got Mecha Godzilla and the Great Garloo is like, and Jinju Ito is the,
I know, right?
It's really
Who
kind
would
of-
have thunk?
Yeah, which is kind of cool. But also, was talking about Tiki stuff. There's also Shag.
Yes.
This year at Comic-Con, Shag put out his booth. There's a couple new Star Wars prints from Return of the Jedi, but he also did these different art pieces that are like, they combine a Tiki setting with Star Wars, and they're amazing. They're awesome. There's like about 4
For
different-
example,
for like you have like Dagobah, and like it's kind of like a big Tiki statue in there.
Cool.
And one is like, I think, Boba Fett with a giant Tiki face of the Boba Fett helmet is a giant.
that's great.
Tiki face. It's really awesome. So it's great.
One thing I did see that I thought was neat was they did big tiki heads of the Star Wars characters. They were just a head, like you could put on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought
And
those
those sold
were
out
great.
too already, but it's cool because Shag is known for that whole kind of Tiki scene,
Yes,
but now
yeah.
he's combining it with
Tiki
Star
chic.
Wars. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
No, we had Shag on our show years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
I mean, listeners who've been around for a while know they know we had him on the show.
Lovely
And it
man.
was great. And he talked about what stuff he would do and what he wouldn't do. And I
Right.
swear to God, I wish he would do a Star Trek thing.
Yeah, I bet
mean,
you
it's-
eventually he will, though, because it took
And
a while for him
remind
to
me,
do Star Wars.
Did he not? Did he just not into it? or-
No. It wasn't. He said that he said he didn't want to do it because everyone expected him to do it. It seemed like it was an obvious thing because it's from the
But
60s.
Star Wars wouldn't be that.
Yeah,
Remember,
it's-
he was hired by the people at Lucasfilm or Disney. They loved his stuff, and they
Okay.
asked him.
Right,
Okay.
And so he came up with those concepts.
No, that makes sense. Okay.
So maybe we need the
Yeah.
Roddenberry estate to go,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I like your stuff too, or something like that.
Also, I don't know the guy's name, but there's one guy who sells a lot of Tiki stuff, kind of like signs and pillows.
Oh, yeah,
and
I know that guy.
Decorations.
Or know of him.
And one of the most awesome things we got is this metal sign of Boo Berry, Count Chocula, and Frankenberry as the hitchhiking ghosts. Oh. But they're holding like a box of cereal, a mug of coffee, and a thing of milk. I mean, it's awesome. And it was the last one. It was the last.
You got the last sign?
It was
That's
it was
nice.
the display one. Is like yes, we
And it's a
want that.
metal sign.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Nice. And so the colors are kind of like a
Yeah, it's like a
purplish,
blue. Yeah,
purple.
it's so cool.
nice.
So that was a really cool find.
You are really a monster cereal.
He loves cereal.
I do. I
He
do.
really loves cereal.
I hope they. I want more General Mills Monsters merchandise. I mean, I think it's
So you
great.
want? So you're looking for? You want
Brute?
you want Fruit Brute?
If Jada Toys put out also a Fruit Brute and a Yummy Mummy, I'll be all over those.
I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, I bet you they will. Yes, they may be the lesser known ones, but now I think these toys are doing well, and the General Mills Monsters are popular. So
I think you need to write a letter.
yes, you're gonna write a letter,
send an
telegram.
email.
Yes.
What makes me sad though is Fruit Brute because what I liked about the other characters is they still were close to a monster thing. Like, you know, yes, Frankenberry had the little smokestack and everything else in the butt head.
Right.
But but you could still like, okay, that's a creature created out of parts, okay? And Count Chocula still looked like Dracula. And Boo Berry looked like a ghost.
Yeah.
But when you get to Fruit Brute, now he's got the overall, or the, you know, he's wearing the overalls, and it's very Doug Henning.
Is he a farmer?
Maybe he was Doug Henning, who was bit by a werewolf, and he
I
turned
think
into
so.
Fruit Brute.
No.
You know,
And the Wolfman, the thing is, though, is like the Wolfman's one of my favorite monsters.
Yeah.
And to have that done to him,
I don't know. I think it's cool. That and Yummy Mummy, man, if they made little figures and they should make a play set like a castle or something, they should do something. That'd be awesome.
should.
I mean,
They
come
should,
on,
yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Where they all get together and have
General
breakfast.
Mills Monster Land, you know, like that'd be so.
well, they
awesome.
should have a thing. It would be great if they made a play set where you pour cereal in it, and then they like make the cereal for you. You know, it just comes out of a
something.
spigot.
Oh,
yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah. But there's just something about Fruit Brute. I don't know. See, now, Mondo, one of the things I saw that they had that is so great. Now, it's not necessarily a super deformed design. It's one of those ones that looks exaggerated.
Yeah.
And they've got a werewolf by night.
I saw that. That is amazing.
cool.
It's beautiful. It's like about 12 inches.
Yes,
maybe.
yeah.
It looks just like from the comic.
Yeah, the face is perfect.
Yeah, it's like a snow. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I like that, but I wish they would also make just a regular one.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of upcoming figures that are not yet on the market but have been showcased at Comic-Con, one interesting thing, the NECA booth is always showing, like last year they had the husky dog morphing into the Thing from the Thing,
Right.
1982, which I thought by now would be out, but it's not. They're still teasing it. It's coming out in a few months.
Right.
Can't wait for that.
Me too.
There's also a company that's putting out figures from True Romance, the Tarantino scripted movie by Tony Scott.
Wow.
Including what I'm excited about is a Christopher Walken figure.
Yes.
It looks like a 6-inch Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Really?
They look really good. Yeah.
Just straight. Is there a lot of demand for that? For
No,
figures from that
no, but
movie?
I don't think that you're going to see those at Walmart necessarily, but you're going to have to order them, you know.
Why don't they make communion figures?
Yeah, really. Like little aliens all around
they
them.
made
like,
a little
yeah.
dance place,
Yeah.
you know, where they can dance.
You know, it has been a constant complaint that when vendors show up, you want them to bring the product.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's one thing where if you tease me for, next year, bring that product next year.
Yeah, there have
And
been- yeah.
I will say one thing that's really cool about that thing is that the dog has like removable heads.
Yeah.
Right? It can-
Several.
Yeah. It can be like
That's
it's all
cool.
exploding, or just the dog
Each
head.
dog
Dog head or
stage.
like a weird hole.
Yeah.
Very
awesome.
cool.
That's
Nah.
cool.
But
Yeah, who ever thought that we would live in this time?
You know,
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. And,
Sure.
And, it's funny. These were very realistic and stuff. But then at Super 7, where they had the Mecha Godzilla, they also had, they still have the Universal Monster license, where they're making these, another set of, it looks like Monster Soakies, but they're not really Soakies.
Yeah. They're charming though. They're kind of cool.
And they're it's like blowing bubbles.
Right.
And for listeners, if you're catching this now, if you go to eBay, ooh, wow, I can buy the whole set for $300. No. Go to the Super 7 website
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always do that.
Because
Go.
you can
Yeah.
look, they're supposed to be about $20 a piece. You can get the whole
Right.
set for $120. But I'm just saying that it bugs me every time when people are trying to make this huge profit by trying to sell something like that for $300.
yeah.
It just bugs the heck out of me.
One thing I got recently that, because we've been talking about all this, and I didn't get it here, but my brother sent me some late birthday money. Mm-hmm. I found on eBay a couple ridiculously cheap black hole figures, the Mego ones.
No.
The big ones.
The
Yeah.
big ones?
The 12-inch
We just saw some
You're
of those
kidding.
at
Yes.
one of the booths here. Like
Is that right?
The 12-inch Mego ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had about 3 of them.
Yeah, I got them for nothing. And,
No.
And I got Reinhardt,
Yeah.
Cool.
and then I got Robert Forster.
That's cool.
The only other one I really want is the Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
I saw somebody had the Tony Perkins one.
Yeah.
And it's just not
Doesn't really-
right. It
no,
doesn't
no.
look like him.
But you know what you can do too is there was a model that was made at that time. You might be able to pick up that model
The
from
Maximilian
79.
one or
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's in scale.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
It's kind of close to it.
Yeah.
Maybe not
Maybe.
exact.
Yeah.
Have they ever put out the ship?
No, we've been talking about this. They did a model
They
kit,
did
right?
a model kit back in '79.
Seems like somebody could do like a die cast maybe, or just something.
Sean,
like,
think about
and
it.
light it up.
Look, that film is looked as a total failure.
Yeah,
okay?
but they recently though they put out those great figures of the robots. So
Yes, they
obviously there
did.
is a market.
No,
for,
you're right. You're
so
right.
I think they did okay with that.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So those are beautiful. So yeah, I mean, but that ship is so unique.
So, yes.
Somebody's
Yeah.
gonna, to me, I just envision a die cast where like you lights inside it. So it, like in the movie, it emanates from inside. That would be so.
You
awesome.
could just put one little light that reflects it. The whole little
that would
bottom.
be really cool. I bet
would
someday
like
you're
that.
going to see that.
That is a beautiful ship. Though.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I am always looking forward to is the work of Jim Jenkins.
Oh yeah.
And Jim
Yes.
is here. Jim, could you come up to the mic?
Come on.
San Diego native Jim
Yeah.
Jenkins.
San Diego native, long supporter of Monster
Yes,
Party.
indeed.
yes, and we are thrilled to have Jim with us again for our Comic-Con
And-
episode.
Honestly, and I mean this with all sincerity, one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I love his shag, but I'll put your stuff next to a shag any day of the week.
Because it's so unique.
Because your
too.
stuff is, as you said, so unique. It's tactile, which is I'm all about tactile,
It's paper sculptures.
Well, that's
as the ladies know.
So yeah, Matt, can you explain these paper sculptures that he does?
Well, Jim, please, you describe it. Describe your process, because what he does is he makes these wonderful dioramas, figures, and they are made of paper and cardboard for the most part, right?
Well, just paper, actually.
Just paper.
Just like
Paper.
construction paper, like,
Paper.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet they look like it's something that was molded out of a machine with the amount of detail.
Yeah. Oh
Something
my
that was
God.
sculpted. And it is sculpted, but it's done with paper. And just the amount of time that it must take. So let me just cut to the chase, if I could. Jim, as a surprise, presented us with this massive diorama. And what it is, it's our kaiju mascot
Yeah,
wearing the Hawaiian shirt
Yes.
and the Monster Party shirt.
from our flyer.
Yes, and he's got the martini, and he's got the bong, and he's got sunglasses. And so what's happening is he's falling on a series of buildings.
and we'll take pictures of it.
And we will,
Yeah,
yes.
we will,
that's
definitely.
right. But so he did not mess up his shirt, because he's got places to go after this.
Yeah.
He hung the shirt on like a power tower. And it's just, I'm telling you, I mean, when the more you look at it, the more detail that
Yeah.
you see. There's fire coming out of the windows of the buildings. Every single one of the scales is unique. And it's just amazing. And I'm still like flabbergasted. So tell us, how long, specifically this one, how long did it take you to make that?
That's a good question. I'm really not positive. I don't keep track of time like that.
It's just kind of like you start working and then time goes.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, what I want to know is how you go about deciding how it's going to look, and do you do a
you, like,
drawing
do you
first?
do
How do you go
sketches?
about?
I actually did on this one. I did a sketch. It looks nothing like this.
Best laid plans, right?
Yeah, this is the second Godzilla I've done. The first one was
Oh no,
Just a
we don't
proof
know.
of concept.
We don't do Godzilla. I don't know. I've never heard of
No,
Godzilla.
this is a kaiju.
This
monster.
is a kaiju
Yes,
monster,
yes.
very unique.
Yes.
Nothing like Godzilla.
No,
That's right.
no.
excellent because he really doesn't look a whole lot like Godzilla.
Nothing like
Not at all.
So I just keep stepping in it, don't I?
I have no idea what you're talking
But
about.
it's absolutely
But
beautiful.
it's gorgeous.
And the fact that he has a bong in one hand and a martini glass in the other, just like in our drawing in the painting, is awesome.
Yeah, and his tongue is hanging out. It's just beautiful. And so, yeah, I mean, and you've given us over time a number of your pieces of work. We got them everywhere. And what's also great about them is that how fragile they are.
Yeah.
It makes them even more collectible and unique, and truly makes them treasures.
Keep them away from open flames.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But Jim, do you have like lots of different size scissors at home or something to cut all the little
No,
scales?
I've got like one good pair.
One good pair. My God, that's amazing.
Well, I started doing it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
in probably about 74.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And I would just make little Planet of the Apes characters.
Oh, really?
Very crude, very basic.
Right.
And then I just stopped doing it for a long time. And eventually a friend asked me if I could make him he's a Viking Nordic heritage, so he wanted for his 30th birthday, he wanted a Viking character with a little boat that we could push out in the pool and set fire to.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Which he didn't do.
Because he saw it. He was like, oh, my God, this
Yeah,
is
I don't want to
beautiful.
burn this.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it was in just basic construction paper. So after about a month, everything turned white.
Oh, weird. Yeah, but that's what's so unique to me about is like, I mean, you see so many different types of artwork and sculptures and materials, and I don't know, you would never think that you can get something looking like this out of paper. You know,
In a million years, I wouldn't know even how to start that.
yeah.
And can I ask you the color on these pieces of art? Do you ever paint at all, or is it always the color of the paper?
No, I try to avoid painting.
Good. Yeah. And that's why you get this texture.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of paste.
Yeah.
Use paste or.
Elmer's glue, but
All the basic stuff. It's like this is very
oh,
basic
yeah, it's very
stuff.
basic. There's probably about
But
$1.50 worth of materials in there.
It's amazing. It's just
So-
incredible.
Well, thanks for putting so much into this. Jim.
Well, it's his time. His time.
Yeah.
is
Well,
money.
yes, his time
the
is
incredible
priceless.
artistry.
Yes.
Of it. Yeah.
Now we've been urging you forever to do a show of some sort.
Yeah.
And you seem to be reluctant. And I understand that it's kind of an undertaking, but like the world needs to see your stuff.
Well, I did a few years ago. Maybe this will explain why I'm the way I am. For the convention, I decided to enter the art show.
Yeah.
This is the San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah, the Comic-Con art show.
Yeah.
And this was 15 years or so ago. So I did like X-Men, Nightcrawler, Wolverine.
Oh.
I even did a Colossus. I found some silver paper. did a
Wow.
Colossus. And it was the Bid On It auction show, where they just put them up for display and people walk by and they go, oh.
And write down their bid.
Yeah, they write down their bids. And so I was going with a friend that year, and it was like, okay, we got our tickets. We're going in. First thing I'm going to do is go check, see how many bids I got. Not a one.
Well, how long had it been out though? You just kind of
A day or so.
What was
Yeah.
the figure?
that was
It was the X-Men.
Okay.
Just-
It was the X-Men.
Yeah, Wolverine, Colossus, and Nightcrawler.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, this is a long time ago, and
Yeah.
and tastes change over periods of
Well,
time.
that
and-
was kind of X-Men heyday too.
well,
you
yeah,
know,
but
really.
but there, you get somebody like Larry. Mattel didn't make that, so why
Yeah.
should I get it?
I probably would.
well, but then Mattel wouldn't have put it in an art show.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this is what I would have said, Matt. I would have said, this is a work of art. That's
All
what I
right.
would have
Yeah,
said.
that's true.
And then I would have put,
And then you would have put
$10.
$10.
Hey,
you know.
I would have let it go for $10 as it is. I got no bids over the 4 days. I got no bids on anything.
Sure.
So that was just kind of
See,
like
I think
I
it would
got-
be different. I think it would be different now.
I got a
Yeah.
Post-it note at the end of the show saying second place.
Oh, well.
So, well, it's not a contest.
Well, somebody thought it was good
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
The guy who awarded himself first place.
Well, I mean,
So next to him, I was his next favorite thing.
did anybody else have Post-it notes?
No.
Jim, I just want to tell you one thing, if I may, please.
Oh, you may, Larry. Of
You know,
course.
Jim, if you think about it, great artists through history, sometimes they're misunderstood.
That's true.
And if I could just say this, Vincent van Gogh, look, he only sold one painting, but his stuff is worth millions now.
Well, I'm trying to rush that process and go ahead and die so that this will become valuable for you.
Just start with cutting off a toe or something.
No. I think if we could convince him, we'll work on
And I
this.
think it might-
I think now is the time.
I
I
would
think
like
it's
timing,
different. It's
and also depend on the characters of who you do too, or maybe if you think of a unique approach to something. Yeah, it really depends.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, when the COVID really hit and I had a lot of time to screw around, I was doing characters I liked.
right,
You know,
right.
the Beulah, I think you called it Beulah.
yeah.
It's in my office.
From
I didn't know that was
It
the
Conquered the
character's
World.
name.
yeah.
yeah.
We have Frankenhooker.
Yeah, because
right?
again,
prize possession. And Frankenstein Jr.
Oh, which I
Yes.
love
We got a
those.
mummy.
Alligator people.
Alligator people.
Yeah.
That's ours.
The Dorats.
The Dorats.
Dorats, the famous
that is-
Dorats. Yeah.
Godzilla versus King
Us
Ghidorah.
as Dorats.
Yes.
So
awesome.
great.
Yeah. And so this is another thing that you might want to do is the next time there are one of these art shows, like, you know how like Creature Features would do the Thing themed show.
Oh, right.
Like an anniversary.
Yes.
You
or
should do something
Art
for that
show
and enter it
themed.
in that, because I think it would
Yeah,
be the right
that's a good idea.
environment.
Like the
yeah,
Sugarman
I would
Gallery.
like to. I don't often hear about these things in advance.
Well, maybe we'll have to tell you.
You know,
maybe
yeah.
we'll have to let you know.
We'll,
yeah.
we'll
Seriously.
talk.
Yeah.
because that's that
I
would
was
be good.
just listening to Sean, and I was going to bring up to Sean that I actually did a series of the monster cereals.
Really? Oh, awesome.
I was going to bring them here tonight to give them to you.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Yeah. See, that's the thing. I think it just depends on the character, and yeah, I think now too. I don't know. You see so many different interpretations of famous, horror sci-fi characters, and I think your interpretation is so unique, and it's just
Yeah, I tried to
stands
keep
out.
them-
There's nothing like
Nothing
your
like it.
stuff. That's the
Yes.
thing. A lot of people make sculpt figures and do garage kits or whatever, but there's nothing like yours.
Not like paper and paste.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it might be that just all you need to do is just put it in like a nice plexiglass case.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's in there and
protected.
it's protected.
I've done
Yeah.
one, what you would call professional job,
Okay.
yeah.
many, many years ago for an advertising agency in town.
Really.
They were doing advertising for a costume contest. You go into Kmart and you see all those cheap kids' costumes.
Right.
They're the ones who made those.
Okay.
And so they had requested a mummy, a vampire, a clown, and each of these characters was going to be for one of their catalogs.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Including, they had the license to do Disney things.
Oh.
Okay.
So they wanted a pumpkin with the Mickey Mouse logo cut out.
Cool.
And I thought, I have no idea how to make a pumpkin. No idea at all. And I fiddled with it for a little while. I got a beach ball, cut it up, used it for a pattern, and I finally ended up making a pumpkin with the logo on it. And I put a little candle inside it, and a little pumpkin stem and so forth. And that's when Disney started talking about suing someone.
oh,
Oh, really?
I didn't have the proportions of the mouse head right.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was doing it for somebody who had the license.
Right. But yeah.
So I made a second one a little bit more carefully.
Right.
And
Okay.
that seemed to be okay.
It's weird that they would go to suing so quickly of the idea of it's like, well, let me just take another shot at it.
Well, yeah, they didn't come directly to me.
but even
The
that would
advertising
be
people
right.
came
Yeah,
to me
yeah,
and said,
yeah.
"Oh, you might get a kick out of learning this." And it's like, "Yeah,
Jeez.
I'm kicked, all right."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it turns out, and there's another connection to the Monster Party here, that the company I was doing it for was called Disguise Incorporated,
Okay.
which is where Mr. Jim Moore used to work, making masks.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay.
We're all one big happy
Yeah,
family.
really.
And
All
you-
these
We
different
really are.
artists, and that's a good example of another artist who does something in a medium that is so unique.
Yes.
Jim stuff. You
Oh
know,
my
like, that's the
gosh.
thing. Right? It's,
We
yeah.
and we ran into Jim today.
Oh,
which
did
was-
you? Oh,
yes,
yeah.
we did. He was
Awesome.
only
He's
here for the
attending.
day. He was only here for the day, but it was great. And
That's
we
cool.
posted a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, that's
Well,
that's what's nice about Monster Party too, is that we create this extended family.
Yes, very much so, I think.
Yeah, and it's like, there are people that don't really engage with us that I think just listen, as we've discussed. But the people who do engage with us are always cool and
Oh my gosh, yeah, always.
yeah, and are really on the same wavelength when it comes to even some of the weird esoteric things too. Everybody kind of speaks
Yep.
the same language.
Yeah, you guys have actually turned me on to so much.
Cool. I'm glad. That's good.
Sean has gotten me into so many different movies.
Well, he's done that for all of us.
I take his suggestions very seriously. And
Do you really?
I do, especially if he says, "Don't go watch this."
Which is rare.
I will.
Yeah,
Which is rare.
Yeah, because especially older vintage stuff, I have such a soft spot for just
Yes.
almost anything, even
Yeah,
and
I
what
mean-
quality, because there's something entertainment value for me in some way for it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah, I bought a copy of Blood Car.
Blood car.
Blood car on the freeway or something? What
Oh,
is it?
death car on the
Death car on the
freeway?
freeway?
No, it's blood car. The
Blood car.
car that runs on blood.
Oh.
Was that you?
Wait.
That sounds great.
You just throw
That's,
somebody in the trunk every so often, and
Is that...
Did you ever see Wormwood?
Ooh, I know
Is it,
that.
is it like Wormwood, Road to the Dead? It's an Aussie
I know
thing,
that
and it's
one,
like
yeah.
it's a car. Part of the story, it's all kinds of crazy tendrils in this thing, but part of it is that the car runs on zombie blood.
Zombie blood.
Yeah,
That can happen.
I'll have to look for that one.
yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, well, no, I love introducing crazy, weird movies to people.
Yeah,
so,
I think Deathbed was another one that you recommended.
Deathbed
It
was this
like,
crazy
wow.
one. Yeah, that's
When I find these, it's just
it's never
like-
ending.
And then Larry keeps us real.
Yes. Well, I was just going to say, Jim, thanks. It's so great to have you come
Yeah,
to the
and
show.
thank you so
Yeah.
much.
And
Oh,
this
hey.
is just
And
an
bring us
absolute-
this wonderful
It's
thing.
just
yeah.
incredible.
But
yeah.
Jim, I do hope that we can kind of convince you to maybe try to do some other things that we can maybe get in an art show. I mean, we'll talk
Yeah,
about
some
this
kind of
because
little
your
exhibition, yeah.
Your stuff is just terrific. It's like what these guys said. There isn't anything out there that I've seen that's like your
Well,
stuff.
I kind of justify it all by thinking when I eventually am gone, I'll leave behind a few happy people.
Yes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I mean, my gosh, yeah.
You're making people happy now.
Yeah, and I'm good with that.
right. That's
And
right.
for James, you could do what would you want that's really obscure? Like if you were
As a Jim
when you
Jenkins
think of
creation.
the Jim Jenkins stuff.
Oh, come on.
If you were
Well,
gonna,
I gotta say the Dorats were so obscure, and then when you busted those
That's
out,
true.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
could. That was just like beautiful.
But
Yeah,
you know, if you're
yeah.
thinking about doing a creature thing one day, maybe it doesn't have to be so big, you know. Maybe,
well, I mean, he kind of has to.
Well, I'm just throwing it out
You
there,
can't
Jim.
like he's,
No,
I'm
I'm
just
not
he's
arguing.
not the guy that writes his name on a kernel of
Rice.
like rice.
right.
No, I know, but you know, I'm just throwing it out
They
there.
kind of come out the size they want to be.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh,
I
wait a
hear
minute. Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh,
You ever done that?
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Also, my wife just whispered in my ear a good recommendation. That would be Bubo the Owl.
Oh,
From Clash of the Titans.
That's Carrie too. Yeah.
Why is she whispering this in your ear like she doesn't know me?
You don't want to presume anything.
Am I unapproachable?
No. You're just
You're gonna
great.
have to. Oh,
You're-
yeah.
Carrie just directly whispered it in the air.
Yes.
And here
Yes.
comes
Oh,
Gina
Wait,
now.
are we
Gina's
all
doing it
are we
now.
all whispering in Jim's ear now? That's what's going on?
Jim, you're just gonna wake up at your place, and I'm
Okay.
gonna be there whispering in your ear.
Well, but
Zardoz.
well, Jim, thank you, Jim. Thank you so much for being with us. I really
And
appreciate
thank you for
it.
having me.
Yeah,
Larry.
it's been
Super
great.
appreciate it.
You know, I wanted to tell Matt. Was there something else you wanted to add before he walked away?
Just I love him.
Okay. Yes.
Before he walks 2 feet.
No,
Yeah.
You know,
Go to his regular seat
can
now.
I just share with you something?
Yes.
It's like it's so great that we got to chat with Stephanie and Jim. We've seen so many wonderful people here. In addition to Jim, James and I also ran into Eric Kurland, the 3D
awesome.
guy.
Awesome.
And
Everywhere.
it was great, and he showed us that there's a Kickstarter thing where they're doing a ViewMaster where he's got great 3D stills from
Robot Monster.
and it
My
was
gosh,
great.
can't wait. I've already ordered the Robot Monster Blu-ray.
Did you?
Wow.
Yeah.
But I want to share with you something that I got really emotional at today.
Oh yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so for listeners, I just bear with me here, Matt.
I'm gonna
bear with
try.
me. Okay, when I was a kid, I grew up watching this show that taught you a lot about just life lessons.
It's a
and
children's
ethics.
show.
A children's show. It was
Yes.
the New Zoo Review.
Yep, I remember.
With
Watched it
Doug
too.
and Emmy Joe.
Doug and
there
Emmy
was
Joe.
Freddie, Charlie, Henrietta. So Freddie was a frog, Henrietta was a hippo, Charlie was an owl.
And these were people like in kind of Croft style
Yes,
costumes.
yes. Now,
Yes.
this was not on PBS. This was on
Right.
regular TV, but it was,
Right.
I guess, in syndication. Now, as a kid, when I watched it, I loved Doug and Emmy Joe, and I thought they were friends. And Emmy Joe had great go-go boots, But,
I'll say.
yes.
Yeah.
And she was beautiful, and I thought they were friends. And what I learned from that was that boys and girls can be friends. That's one thing that I learned from that.
Right.
But
That's not what I learned from that show.
Well, listen, no. But there was always songs, and there was this,
Right,
and there were stories. And when I'm watching it, I'm just thinking, you're just watching them do this performance. What I didn't know and later learned was Doug
Doug wrote all of the songs. He did all the scripts. He designed the scripts, and he designed the sets, and he did so much to create this show. And they did it for, I forget, like 120, 130 episodes, half-hour episodes. But the thing, guys, is I didn't know where Doug and Emmy Jo went to. They kind of vanished after the 8 years or whatever.
Because this was a show kind of for our generation, kind of like the Croft shows and like Monster Squad and all these kind of Saturday morning shows.
More obscure.
Yeah. But I mean, I watched it too. I remember the theme song. Like I did. I mean, a very early age.
Yeah.
You know, but
It's
I did
the
watch
news and review. Coming right at you.
Yeah, it was kind of like Zoom. Like remember the show Zoom was on and all these types of shows like that. But like that was a show.
Yeah, they learn from their friend Doug, and his helper Emmy Jo, Freddie.
Every day is a different show.
So the thing that I love is I didn't know what happened to them. Within a year, recently, within the past year, their daughter kind of introduced them to the internet world because they're not internet people.
Right.
And they're older, and what's happened is what happened is that they were a married couple, they had kids, and he started a production group in Vegas.
So wait a minute. So Doug and Emmy Jo were
married. They were a married
Wow.
couple, and so they did this production stuff in there for years. They didn't actually know how news and review affected people. Their daughter said, "Mom, Dad, there are a lot of people out there that love to hear about what happened, what you guys did," and they were here at the show.
Wow.
That's
And
awesome.
guys, it was such an emotional thing for me. And I got to go up and meet Doug and Emmy Jo, and they both gave me a hug. And I was telling them how much they meant to me because, I'm from a large family. There was a lot of yelling and chaos in the house.
Right.
And when I watched news or review, it was a very calming thing, and I learned stuff from it, and I loved it. And I told Doug and Emmy Jo this, and Doug started to tear up.
Wow,
and he says, Larry, that's what we were trying to do. And to see someone like you were kids when you saw us, and now you're an adult. And do you have kids? Yes, I do. And, we had this great conversation about kids and learning. And he says, Emmy Jo and I are so happy that one day when we're gone, we left something. We built a legacy.
Right.
Yes.
But the best thing, guys, is not only were they there, but Freddie Frog was there. And when Freddie
How's
Frog
he
came
looking?
in, he looks great. And then I went on my tirade. I went, "Oh, Freddie," and I said, "There's an episode that really got me." And I explained how I was upset when Freddie Frog was running for president. And one of the things he said that I'll never forget was as he's running for president, he says to Doug, you like to ride your bike downhill, but you don't like to ride it uphill. And Doug goes, "Well, yes, but," and Freddie sings, "Then I'll get rid of all the uphill." In other words, he's making a promise he can't deliver because he's an idiot. And as a kid, I remember going, "That's dumb. You can't get rid of the uphill." And and it's like I learned, hey, some politicians will promise things that are ridiculous, and you can't, you can't promise that. So.
Right.
And Doug loved that. He goes, "Oh, that's great, Larry, that you learned that." So I got a great picture with them.
Yeah.
They signed. I got a great autograph photo.
Did they have like photos of the from the show that they made? Okay, that's cool.
But the great thing, guys, is they've never done a show before.
Well, maybe now this is going to kickstart that.
They were blown away by how many people love them, and so they may do other shows. Their daughter is great. Their daughter Joanna is fantastic, and she's trying to help the parents see these people who grew up with them.
Right, that's really cool.
It's a big emotional thing for me. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
That's awesome.
So did Freddie the Frog apologize?
He just kind of put his hand over his mouth. But Matt, you're going to love this. When we did a photo, I said, "Hey guys, jazz hands," and they all went up like this. And we got a picture.
That's cool.
But there wasn't anything legal about it. But I'm in the mood to talk about something legal.
Wow, what a segue.
Wow. I just got you broke my foot with that. Okay.
I think.
Well, one of the high points of Comic-Con every year is a very special man who is a friend of ours. He's been on the show. He's a friend of Monster Party. And we're a friend of everything that he does.
Yes.
Because he's just so damn good at it.
He's been supportive.
Yes.
And we've been supportive of him, too.
Yes, that's right.
And he's done some great stuff.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
keeps doing it. And ladies and gentlemen, he's right here. It's Josh Gilliland.
Josh Gilliland from the Legal Geeks, folks.
The Legal Geeks.
And last year, you, sir, you did this great Jaws trial, which we filmed, and we put it together, and it was fantastic.
It was. Your filming of it was beautiful. The after
He's good at what he does.
The post production was exceptional. The effects that you added for the intro makes it truly memorable, and we thank you and we honor you.
Oh man!
And for that, I brought you something. Now I was
You brought us something?
It's you. This is the last one from the booth. So if you already have it, I apologize.
Oh no! You got me! You got me a gift! Oh my God, Matt! He got me a gift.
You know what? I have friends.
Everybody's just giving gifts.
Open it and we'll talk more.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm opening the gift that Josh Gilliland brought me. So I'm opening up. Oh my God! It's the glow-in-the-dark creature! Oh my
Now he has three.
Oh, now he has three.
Now he has three.
Okay.
Oh,
Now he has the just in case
this
one.
is the just in case.
So that was the last one. So
I'm the last one.
Wow.
easy, big boy, easy. So because October's coming. And I like doing Halloween posts. Mm-hmm. And so I saw the Universal Monsters toys that they have.
Yeah.
Right.
But none were for sale. And it's like,
yeah.
I was like, that's an evil tease. And I went, well, what do you have? And they had that. I went, Larry might have it. He might not.
So wait a minute. So when you bought that one, then they put the sticker up on it that said sold out?
I didn't stick around long enough to watch that.
But they did tell you that this was the last one.
Wow.
Yes.
My God.
Nice.
Okay,
So now you must really be
No,
happy.
because now I'm going to take a little Post-it. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to go last one. It's from Josh Gilliland, my friend from the Legal Geeks. That's what I'm going to do. And this, I'm going to treasure this.
I'm glad you
This
are.
is staying in the package. I'm not smelling the plastic in here.
I was wondering if you would open it or not, because if you had another one, would you open it or would you keep it?
He has two others now.
No, I'm keeping this like this.
Which is
This is the Josh Gilliland version.
it's the point of a gift, because a gift, there's a legal doctrine with it. I'm giving it to you, and you now own it.
Close your arms because it's just to Larry. Okay.
Isn't it neat how people like giving me gifts?
I know, it's weird. You know,
I do look out for all of you, but that was the one that
Josh takes care of me.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
sure.
I keep an eye out. It's like, hey, he would like that.
I would love it. And I love it even more. And it means so much to me.
I'm glad you will enjoy it. I'm glad it will have a good home.
It will.
I'm just waiting for someone else to come through that door as a present for me.
I started Christmas shopping here, so I got gifts for my brothers. So
Now, Josh, what I wanted to ask, though, so you had multiple panels here at Comic-Con. Could you tell us about those?
So we had one on Thursday night that was called Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Lawsuit. And we took on the legal issues from all of the Indiana Jones movies. Like, could you take a horse onto the subway? And the answer is no. That fine's like $25, but the jumping the gate is $100 fine. So whether or not the Ark of the Covenant could be classified.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. Is it legal for him to go into these temples and take something, but he's giving it to a museum? But what about the country that it came from? That's what I always wondered.
Oh, things get fuzzy fast with MDs.
Sure.
So when he's working under the auspices of the U.S. government to fight Nazis, and I want to come out, I am pro melting Nazi. I am.
Don't mince words.
Yeah,
okay?
I like seeing them explode.
I think we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, so I'm very pro melting Nazi. And when you have that kind of authority that the U.S. government sent you, that gives you greater legal rights. Now, you also get into warfare. And in Raiders takes place in 1936.
Yeah.
The United States had just enacted 3 neutrality acts saying that we just won't get involved and Europe can burn. But the executive branch was taking affirmative steps because we knew war was coming. Right. And Raiders plays with that. Mm-hmm. We did have Lend-Lease. We were trying to make sure that, Europe did not burn, despite what Senator Gerald Nye and others who were isolationists just thought we could sit one out.
Right.
And when you're dealing with a weapon of mass destruction that's harnessing the wrath of God, you can't ignore that. So the answer is, it depends what we're talking about. Raiders, clear. Last Crusade, probably not, because it was going to a private collection. Donovan wanted it for himself.
He did.
Yes,
He did.
But then it turns into a necessity defense to fight the Nazis.
Right.
But today we have the Logan Act, which is private citizens aren't supposed to have their own foreign policy. Even though I don't think he technically runs afoul of the Logan Act, it's still a little problematic. But at the end of the day, he does punch a Nazi.
No court in the land.
It's like, good.
See, Josh Gilland is like my new Zoo review.
Now, I know you did another panel. Can you please not give any spoilers, though?
Yes. So we called it Lawyer Mania, Guardians of the Law. So it took on the legal issues from Quantum Mania, the last Ant-Man and the Wasp movement,
Okay.
and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay.
Which has a lot of legal issues in both of them. And so we had a great panel of lawyers and a judge tonight, Saturday night. And we had a good Saturday night crowd. But it's nice to have a following. Like I went to Hall H today, which I've never done before. And I walked right in and went to the first row in Hall H to see the Star Trek panel.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Go ahead, James.
Do you want to ask? You want to ask about what Star Trek is?
And so that was cool. And talking with the people next to me, I said, I have a panel here tonight, and just wanted to hear them talk about North Carolina, and which is where they're from. And one of them asked, well, what's your panel? I said, we have, we're lawyers, and this is what we're doing. She went, are you the legal geeks?
Nice.
And started asking questions about past panels over prior years.
Wow.
They've seen us multiple times.
Oh, that's awesome.
No.
So it's nice to have a fan base.
Of course it is. Yeah.
It's nice to be loved.
Yes, it is.
And it's nice to be able to visit with folks who enjoy this community.
And this is the perfect place to do it.
It's
Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's like all of Picard season 3, I watched at home at midnight. Okay. It's not often I cheer and cry at 1 a.m., but the penultimate episode of Picard, I was cheering and crying.
Yeah,
I know which one.
I know what you mean.
And it's that's beautiful. Watching the crossover episode of Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks with 6,000 other people cheering and hollering was an amazing experience.
We got to watch that.
Yeah, I got to watch more of those.
It's a near perfect episode of Trek.
Wow.
It's up
Wait,
there
was this was a Strange New Worlds,
and Lower Decks.
but was it live action or animated or both?
Both.
Really?
So
But they are in two different continuities.
timelines. So
No, continuities. Discovery World is not part of the regular Star Trek continuity. Thank you very much.
So there's some time travel involved with how characters from Lower Decks go back in time, but everything that's taking place in Lower Decks time is animated. And when those actors go into the past, they're live action.
Okay,
That's
but
awesome.
so let me ask you though: was this episode from the new season of Strange New Worlds or the new season of Lower Decks?
Strange New Worlds.
Really?
So
Because we watched the first episode of the latest Strange New Worlds and we're pretty disappointed.
this season's been good. There was one episode. The fourth one is, I think, the most miss that they did.
You didn't think the first episode was miss?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, Nurse Chapel and the other doctor.
Why do they hate Spock?
No, but there's I don't even. It was a rather jumbled episode. I won't go into detail about it, but it was Nurse Chapel and I forget the doctor's name.
Mbenga.
Basically, injecting them with something so that they're superhuman superheroes, and they were fighting Klingons. It was ridiculous.
Are the Klingons still the old Klingon?
No, they fixed it.
How did they fix it?
They're back to looking like the motion picture.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, but it was was a terrible episode.
I didn't love it. I thought it was just okay.
Yeah. For the first one out of the new season, because we've been liking the previous season.
Yeah. So first episode, just okay. The trial episode, I had problems with as a lawyer.
Of course.
Won't get into that. Third episode with Noonien Singh going back in time. That's like sitting on the edge of forever good.
Okay.
And because it was really well done. Fourth episode, disappointing, just kind of a jumbled mess.
So it's a kind of an even season this time, you'd say.
The majority of them have been good. So the fact that there have been two that were just like,
Okay.
But
I guess after watching that last season of Picard, we're a little spoiled.
Well, and also we watched like the first 4 episodes of Strange New Worlds, and I was just like, I'm starting to get a stomach ache at how bad this is. How terribly written, how overly written, and then how they've just ruined Vulcans. Why do they hate Vulcans so much that they don't want to make a Vulcan a Vulcan? Okay, Spock. Yes, I know he's half human, but what made the Nimoy character so great is that he was always fighting with it, and he did such a great job of subtly keeping it below the surface. And this guy's yelling and having sex. The first episode, he's like jumping on to Pring. I mean, come on. Why do they hate me?
So there's a lot to unpack with your rage.
Always.
On one level, I think it would be weird for Vulcans to only have sex once every 7 years. That's
I'm sorry, it's Star Trek, but okay, go ahead.
I think that would be weird for that society because they still have emotion, even though it's repressed. They have the concept of marriage, and according to case law, sex is part of marriage. So there's case law that gets into...
Wait a minute. You're applying California case law to Star Trek?
Well, that's
or not even Star Trek, Vulcan.
We're talking about marriage, man. And marriage abandonment could be, according to, I think it's New York case law, that if, one of the partners says, like, hey, I don't want to have sex anymore, I'm done. That's a reason that the marriage can be annulled.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
But they're not. But see, like I would assume that maybe when Vulcans are married, maybe they have sex a little bit more. But whoever is involved apparently is down with the situation.
Yeah. Now, looking at other issues that you raised with not liking how they've treated Spock, I don't disagree with it. But they've...
Finally.
This episode that they just had with Boimler and Mariner... They talk about that.
Okay.
And I don't want to spoil anything other than they do address those issues.
Okay, well, I'll tell you this. Carrie and I, we've been talking about like wanting to go back to it because I was primed to like it because so many of my friends who like Star Trek liked it, and I sat in there and I went, I don't know who you are anymore. I don't understand how people could like this because it's so goofy, it's so over the top, and just bad writing. And then I go back to we went back and started watching all of Voyager. Mm-hmm. Now Voyager is a troubled show.
Yes,
it's not a perfect.
It's not a perfect show, but I'll tell you. There is some really good stuff within it.
That's really surprising coming from me because for so many years you always dissed.
I went back to it.
He's giving me problems because I liked it, and it's like one of those things where I stuck with it.
It's still pretty damn bad. We're on like season 6 now, and there's still just it's like clunker. Oh my god, that was great. Mm-hmm. And then another. I mean, it's troubled, but at least the tone of it. And certain characters, the fact that we had to suffer through Neelix all the way through is a shame. And it's not the actor's fault.
No.
It's not. He's a great actor. It's not his fault. It's the writing. It's the characters. And I would say with that show too, it's like all the characters, those actors, I think, do a really good job at what they're told to do.
Right.
But it just doesn't work. They're not fleshed out, and there's not enough going on in their universe to fuel any kind of drama. And then you got these two-dimensional characters like B'Elanna Torres, who's just always angry until she realizes she's been too angry, and then she softens, and that's every other episode?
So Voyager accompanied me through law school. So I have a
I get it. I get it.
A soft spot.
Soft spot. And same with DS9 and Voyager were there for me throughout college and law school.
Got it.
And I graduated when Voyager ended.
Right.
And so I overlook a lot of the faults.
Yes.
Because it helped keep me sane each week.
Yes,
Right,
I
right.
do too.
And I'm doing that. I'm telling you, I certainly have more respect for it now than I did, especially with the character of Janeway. I think actually is pretty good. And I
Yes.
think Kate Mulgrew, especially when you learn more about the past of Voyager and the casting problems they had with what's her face,
Genevieve,
Bujold.
Yes.
And so I watched some. I think it's Prime, that documentary, The Center Chair.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting, and they showed some footage of Bujold when she was trying to, tackle the Janeway character. And one of the things they were saying is that she spoke so quietly and slow that it was like, I don't feel like this person is in command. And then I guess Kate Mulgrew was like their second choice, and they got her, and I think she does a great job. And say what you want about 7 of 9 for the obvious
Cat suits.
Yeah, which I'm never gonna say no to, but that turned into a very interesty character.
It was great.
Yeah.
Because a great dynamic between the two.
Absolutely, and then also when you find out about how many problems they had between those two actresses,
Right.
it's pretty impressive.
I will say this though too, like nowadays most seasons of shows they're not like the 24 episodes.
They're 10.
No.
Yeah, so that's one thing.
Sometimes 6.
Yeah, so that's one thing to keep in mind too. Is like the writing. That's just a lot more writing to do. On these shows, and for shows that are on for season after season after season of 22, 24 episodes per season. So it's kind of like, yes, you're maybe going to have more clunkers. 'Cause that's why when you see a current show that is only 10 episodes, but like half of them aren't that good, you're like, it's like...
Exactly.
Picard season 1 and 2.
And I agree
I
completely.
totally agree.
I could honestly have done without both of those seasons
Yes.
and just had Picard season
Yes.
3.
Both of those seasons could have been 3 episodes.
Yes.
And
yes.
100%.
No, not even that. A 2-hour movie.
Yes.
And it would have been fine.
Yes.
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 Okay, but what they did with we'll just meander and have things that don't make sense.
It's a weird conceit now, though. It's like now, we have to have enough content to fill these 10. Like, it didn't seem that wasn't the case back, and it was like we have a season of 24 episodes. Now make that season great.
The genius of Picard season 3 was everything I love about Trek.
Yeah.
And-
and granted, that had its issues too. I thought there were some issues,
Sure.
but nothing that took away from the joy
Nothing that
of watching
pulled me
it.
entirely out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are no episodes that truly drag.
No, they move.
Some speeches that, like all of new Star Trek now, speeches that go on way too long,
Yeah,
and people are way too emotional.
Well, the villain.
There's no crying on the bridge.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
But
yes.
less crying
no
in this
singing.
one, and
no
least-
singing.
Yeah.
Yay for no singing.
Yes, and at least there's appropriate crying in this one.
Well,
there's
yeah.
okay, I could see that as being a crying moment.
So, Strange New Worlds episode 9 is named Subspace Rhapsody, and it's the first Star Trek musical.
Oh no.
And the
hey,
preview
look.
looked
Is it somewhere they go in another dimension where everybody sings or something? Is that why they? Oh.
strange energies?
Now,
that. I don't want
wait,
that.
now,
It looks
guys,
hysterical.
come on, let's.
Why?
Sean,
Why do
do-
they have to do that?
John,
Because one of the actresses was in Hamilton, and she's got pipes.
Well, that's why they did it in Picard, because that one actress who was a terrible actress, I thought, and a terrible character, the scientist who sings in the movie.
Data's daughter.
I mean, I'm sure she has her fans. I thought she was incredibly annoying and terrible.
Poorly written.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And she sings. She bursts out into song like a freaking Roger Hammerstein. Like, it was so
You know what? I
terrible.
haven't
why
even
don't you-
watched it, and I'm furious.
Sean, why don't you
You've seen it,
have
haven't you?
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
have an open mind? Why don't you
This
go?
is what Trek fans want to watch?
No, they don't.
No, Larry, they don't.
I know, I get it.
there was
Just,
lots of cheering.
I actually
Give
want
it
to
a
know what
chance.
I want to know what James.
I want to know what
thinks.
James.
James, a musical Star Trek. What do you
James,
think?
Okay, so first let me pose the question, if I could. Star Trek, you're already having trouble with it, right?
I love it.
You okay? So now you love it, right? You love it.
I've always loved it.
You've always loved it. You've been playing with.
You're in universe, James?
He's been toying with us.
Yes, this is a multi.
Right. He had a beard that he shaved off. Okay. So now you finally come around. You're like, okay, I get it. Star Trek. It's awesome. And then they throw a musical in, and it's something, and it's a device that you've seen in so many other shows before.
Okay. Ally McBeal.
So what do you
Cop
going
rock,
in?
you know.
What do you think?
Give it a chance. Give it a chance.
Oh my God!
Give it a chance.
What if this brings James into being a Trekkie?
Then I don't want him to be a Trekkie. I want him out. You're not allowed. If that's the thing that brought you in, fuck you. Go away.
Now there is music in Star Trek.
Good music.
But it's like, look, the worst music was at least justifiable. My least favorite, but now also sort of weirdly favorite.
Going back to Eden.
Going back to Eden. The jams.
Hey, brother. What do you think about that, Sean? Do you watch that and go,
That's
I
fine.
hate that?
No, that's fine.
But wait a
because
minute.
there's the character in there.
But that's the
doing that.
that's the character. But before we get into that, there's a jam session with the female hippie, space hippie, and Spock.
Yeah.
And it's a good song. It's like
it's good.
Yep.
It's just like that.
It's very late 60s.
Yeah. But,
It's very late
okay. Well,
60s.
look. I mean, we'll eventually. I mean,
I'll watch.
Along with it,
I'm running out of Star Trek, so I got to watch something.
Along with the
I'm not
19
going to go back to Discovery.
That's super hard.
Yeah, that's very difficult. Yeah, along with the other 19 shows you have to catch up. Yes, we will eventually continue watching Strange New Worlds, and we do want to watch more of. We only watched, I think, only one or two of Lower Decks too.
Oh, you love that.
I know. So we have to watch more of those for sure.
Lower Decks brings so much joy because it's such a love letter.
Yes.
They're well written. They're hysterical. They're packed full of Easter eggs. One of the things that I am disappointed about is the cancellation of Prodigy.
I've not seen that.
So you would have to get the Blu-ray now in order to watch it because
They're not even running it on streaming anymore.
They've taken it off streaming.
they took it off streaming.
Really?
Why?
It was a huge middle finger to the fans. It was, if it had been live action, it would have been Star Trek: The Answer to the Mandalorian.
It's Janeway too.
I thought that was a show that was aimed more for little kids.
It was meant to be a nice entryway for kids to get into Star Trek.
I.e. James.
But were they serious stories?
And so these kids are being raised in slavery, and they find Chakotay's starship. And,
Chakotay is a character from Voyager.
And they make a break for it.
Wow.
And they learn, being on board the Protostar, they learn about the Federation values, and they're like, hey, we want to go there.
So Janeway's in this. Is it Kate Mulgrew doing her voice?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
So she's in it as two characters. So there's the hologram Janeway within the ship advising them.
Okay.
And Admiral Janeway is trying to find Chakotay.
Oh, interesting.
And there's one episode called the Kobayashi Maru where the lead character goes on the holodeck and wants to beat the Kobayashi Maru.
Okay.
And it's a love letter because he's on the Enterprise D for the test.
Oh, okay.
He's able to select his crew, which includes Odo, and they have archival voice, audio.
Wow. Really interesting. Of Renee
Aubergenois.
Uhura.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah, of course.
Spock.
Really?
Leonard
Nimoy.
And James Doohan.
Wow.
Scotty.
Oh, they
Or
kind of
Mr.
purposely
Scott.
picked these people who have since passed.
Yeah.
That's neat.
That's interesting.
Ship of the Dead.
And Beverly Crusher was the doctor.
Oh, she's still alive, though.
Barely.
So,
I'm teasing, Bev.
but it's a massive love letter.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, look, that's fine. Like, it just comes down to good writing and like
The Center Chair. Have you guys watched that?
no.
That's the documentary. That's on
First episode. I watched the first episode.
Lots of fun.
I will say this.
Okay,
please. I'm not saying Jean-Luc Picard is old. Now you're supposed to say how old is he?
How old is he?
He's supposed to be in his 90s.
But how old is he?
He looks at his prunes every morning at breakfast and goes, "Make it so." We're talking different priorities now.
Do you have a couple more?
No, that's it.
If you had 3, you should have 3 for every one of these things you do.
Josh, I wanted to ask. So you did these 2 panels, and last year you had a trial. You
Yes.
didn't have a trial this time. Do you have trials coming up, like in the future? Something really cool?
We will pitch some. And so I've been in the middle of moving, and work's been crazy with real trials. So
Don't worry about the real trials. Come on, get to Marvel and Star Trek. And,
so it's a little harder.
Sure.
When time's that pressed. Good news is I have a condo, and there's the office will take a lot of lessons from you guys with having display cases and bookshelves.
Nice. Cool.
Josh has been sending me some pictures.
Oh, awesome,
And,
awesome.
It's coming along nicely.
Yeah, I'm very excited. But for future trials, one I really want to do is a Star Wars one with General Veers, who led the assault on Hoth.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Wasn't that Julian Glover? Right?
Yes, who played Donovan in
Right. In Last Crusade.
Yes.
Right.
The beauty with him is his character is defendable. None of the material shows Veers committing war crimes or ordering war crimes.
Well, I guess if he's working for the Empire, right? Yeah.
But you still have to be engaged in a war crime. And so, which is why the trial would be interesting. Because you could just say, are you prosecuting me as a form of victor's justice just for the sake of punishing me for being part of the Empire? Which was one of the defenses raised at Nuremberg. And now it didn't work. But, it'd be like Rommel being on trial.
Interesting.
Wow.
I see. Okay. Right.
Because
Right.
Rommel didn't do anything illegal. Everything with him was outright warfare against armed combatants.
Wow.
And so I would love to have a Veers war crimes trial because unlike Moff Gideon from Mandalorian, nuking Mandalore is a war crime. Like they targeted civilians. They went out of their way to destroy the civilian population. That's not an interesting war crimes trial because, he's guilty. Like there's no
Right.
And in Nuremberg, we didn't allow the Germans to say we just wanted Germany to be great again. That's why we had to eliminate the Jews and the Gypsies and anyone else we didn't like because they
Right.
were in our way.
Right.
Okay, they didn't get to make that argument, and so we wouldn't want we would echo that.
Right.
But what's interesting with the Jaws trials, you actually had people cast as this is the mayor.
Yep.
This is Mrs. Kittner. And it was great. So would you do something like that? There's no script. It's like they know who their characters are. They go through a trial. There is a prosecutor. There's a defender. And then there's a judge.
So if it's civil, it's plaintiff and defendant, which was the Jaws one.
Yeah.
If it's criminal, that's where you have prosecutor and defense attorney. And yes, we had actors. Part of the way to do a mock trial is you write up a witness statement that highlights the universe of what the witness can talk about. And so, we'll use the movie and we'll write something detailed that explains what the mayor did. And, we examined everything from the movie. We knew he was a real estate agent. And just put that together.
They're all together, yeah.
And it was great.
And that way the lawyers know what questions they draft.
Right.
Because we don't want it to be a free-for-all.
No.
Right. Yeah, that'll be too. Right.
And it's interesting. You have to try to do this trial within 50 minutes, basically.
And that is so hard.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand
sure.
because the lawyers that you had were great and sharp, but the judge had to say, "I'm sorry, you only have 2 minutes."
Yeah.
And the judge and the lawyers they got to those points, both sides. And I have to tell you, Josh, when I was there filming, I didn't know how the judge was going to go. It was a great case.
Thank you.
And I'd love to see something like that again.
And you will.
We're going to need a bigger courtroom.
and another gift perhaps after we.
Was that a knock on the door? Well, Josh, thank you so much for
Yes.
once again making the scene.
So amazing.
And doing what you do. And, we love you every time we have you in our universe.
Thank
our
you.
own little
in
private universe.
in the Monster Party universe.
And thank
And
you
it
for being
wouldn't
so
be Comic-Con
supportive.
if you weren't
That's
joining
true.
us.
That's true.
It's so nice to see friends in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in person.
Yes.
That is very important.
And being able to hang out for a little bit. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
It was
of course.
nice.
So again, for listeners who are, if you're just tuning in, the Legal Geeks. Tell
Where
me
can you
about
find
legal.
it?
Where? Yes.
So thelegalgeeks.com is where we have our blog and podcast. You can also find us on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you listen to fine podcasts. We are on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and Twitter, and TikTok under The Legal Geeks.
Nice.
I've been experimenting on TikTok, doing short videos, analyzing.
That's cool.
So-
Yeah, that's something we might want to get into soon.
All right, Sean.
And you know what else? Congratulations, because your panels they've grown to be like standing room only. They've become so
Yes.
popular.
Thank you.
That's
And
true.
staples.
The fact that people recognized me in Hall H.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It was
that's
just
great.
like, it's like, say what? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Where's the Legal Geeks action figures? Those have to be coming soon.
forthcoming. We should meet up with Jason Lindsay.
Biff Bang Law.
Yeah.
Josh, thanks very much for being with us, buddy.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
Oh, that Josh. What a sweetheart.
He's just the guy. I got a
is.
gift. He gave me a gift.
Yeah, what is it with people giving you gifts?
Yeah.
I don't know.
When
but-
all you do is take.
no, well, but I give too. You
No,
know,
of course you do. I kid. I tease.
You know, it's funny. We've seen so many people today, and we forgot to talk about Entertainment Earth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jason, guys, this was so great. We actually got to go to the entertainment booth, and they have the second floor.
I just love going
Entertainment
up there.
Earth. Don't call them entertainment. They're the
Entertainment
Entertainment
Earth booth, and they have all kinds of toys and new stuff and Biff Bang Pow toys.
Yes, right.
Jason
Uh-huh.
Lindsay's company, they have stuff there, and Jason brought us upstairs for an interview, and it was wonderful. What was great is being on that second floor, being able to look out at the
I know, the
Comic-Con.
masses.
It's just so great.
Yeah.
And he had some beautiful exclusives.
Oh,
there,
my
too.
yes!
Yeah, like that new Talkie Tina.
Yeah, it's funny because for listeners, if you check this out now, I got for my daughter when Biff Bang Pow first came out with it, the black and white Talkie Tina, which had the different versions of what she says in the piece from the Twilight Zone. But what's cool is they came out with this new exclusive that comes in a box as if you purchased
You were-
the doll
yeah, right, which is
in a
awesome.
store.
Yes, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so cool. And it kills me. There's an extra thing that she says.
Yes, which tough luck, Larry.
No, the funny thing is I have to buy it to find out what that is.
But to me, that's what's great about that is it's less a toy than a replica. It really is kind of a replica because it's life size.
Especially now.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
The one you got, Larry, I don't know what was on with that one, but this one especially.
it's just really cool.
And then he also has this theme park edition of the Mystic Seer.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you have one.
I have
original.
one. I have the one that's the Twilight Zone one.
Right.
But this is a replica of the one that you see when you're going through. I believe it's the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
It was
in
the tower.
Orlando.
It was.
In Orlando.
But is it still there in Orlando? Or
It
is that
is.
also?
I think
Oh,
that
is
one
it?
is still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's cool. I mean, he always has. I mean, Entertainment Earth always has great stuff, and
Yeah.
Biff Bang Pow, of course, we love.
Yeah,
and it was very exciting to be. We spent some time up there too.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
It was fun.
Yeah, and got to see Tom Kenny.
That's right.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Kenny and
Rubbing elbows with those VIPs up there. You know, we they gave us some beverages. It was really
Yeah.
And Jason introduced Matt and I to Sam Jones.
Sam Jones.
Flash
Gordon.
Couldn't be nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, it was lovely and expressed interest in coming on the show.
That's right. That's right.
Who knows?
There you go.
Who knows,
Yeah.
listeners?
Yeah. It's going to be a very exciting year.
That's right.
Well, it's funny, Matt. I have to tell you something that was kind of funny. It was such a full day. I mean, we were when Sean, James, and I were leaving, we were exhausted, but we felt so great. It was such a happy day. But you're gonna love this. As we were walking out, we're walking outside the convention. And who comes up? It's a group of people wearing yellow shirts that say regular.
It was average Joe.
Average
They're like
Joes.
a sports team.
Yeah.
with like maybe
Like
like
bowling
or
shirts,
something, and they
yeah.
and they all said average Joes.
I
So, of
flipped.
course,
Did you get a picture?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
we
Of
did.
course,
And so we'll post it. It was like, this is the greatest day ever.
We should. Well, it would have been nice if we have like the regular Joes versus the average Joe.
yeah, right. Who will win?
Who would win?
But it was to me. It was like the cherry on the top. You know.
Very
Those
exciting.
average Joes were there all day, and yet I don't think anybody else was as excited as we
Yeah,
were to see
right.
those people.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, we made. I'm sure you guys made their day.
Yeah.
kindred spirit.
Yeah. Well, once again, a magical con.
Yeah,
Indeed.
It really was.
It really
This
was.
I think this one's been a little more low key in some ways, just a little more chill.
Yeah.
but not in a bad way. I kind of
No.
like that. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
And
the birthplace of Monster
That's right.
Party.
To think
That's
about,
right.
Sean,
You
weren't we
know?
talking about this? Like, we were trying to figure out the first time that we came here, we all got together and
Yeah.
where we were watching. I remember some 16 millimeter stuff that that Matt had brought
that's
or
right.
whatever.
Remember, Matt would bring his 16
That's
millimeter
right. Yeah,
projector
yeah,
to our
yeah.
hotel room.
And
That's
then we
right. Then we
would-
went to then we went to VHS.
Yeah.
then we went to
technology.
DVD.
Yeah, I kept going up,
But
right?
now it's the Roku. You know? Now we just stick the Roku in.
It's lighter and lighter.
You know, and for
Yeah.
listeners, what has been an absolute dream, because I think Sean and I were commenting on this, is it's like, so, you know, when we started this whole journey years and years ago, we've come so far, we got together, we've done this show and stuff, and here we are. And on television, you have Pluto TV with a Godzilla.
A 24-hour
Channel. Channel.
What has happened to our
Yeah,
world?
I mean,
you know?
yeah, it's amazing.
It's
yeah.
almost like Lathe of Heaven.
yeah, yeah.
Dream it, and then it happens the next day.
Yeah, wow.
But not enough. of the
yeah,
things.
yeah. I got a lot of other dreaming
I got
to do.
some. Yeah.
right.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is Monster Party. This is the birthplace, and you know we've been talking about cosplay, and as we get older, I think we're still going to go to Comic-Con and Monsterpalooza and all these
Sure.
conventions, and I think that we should make a promise for cosplay for when we're really old, and I think we should be 4 Captain Pikes. Yeah, and we're just yelling at each other. Beep, 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 beep.
Driving like bumper cars going into each other in the little
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
That's hilarious. But James, do you
Yeah.
have any final thoughts on Comic-Con?
Well, you know, Larry, when we walked in this morning and we walked through the convention center, we were both in cosplay, and I felt like, and I said this to you, we're home, you know, and it really felt that way, and you can't even really rationalize it.
It's like a second home in a way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like our monster kid home in a way.
It's just like you know that real life's going to intrude in 48 hours.
Yes,
but,
yes.
But for now, it's like all is right with the world, and we're
Yeah.
not going to take it for granted. We're going to soak up every minute, and we know that it's for us. And even though, like, there were times when the logistics started to wear me down. You know, it's like my ankles are killing me, and it's like it's a
Yeah.
long way from the shuttle now to the entrance. It's like,
right.
But there are so many moments that make it worthwhile and make it magical that even when I might have forgotten, in the beginning that those moments were going to come, they do come. They did come.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
will always come.
Yeah.
And I will never take it for granted. And especially, I mean, it wouldn't, there'd be no reason to even come if it wasn't for you guys, for all of us being together.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Think about that. Like,
I
if
agree.
and there have been times when maybe just 3 of us have been there, but
Not
yeah,
the same.
If I knew like that, none of you guys, it was like, that'd be lame.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Be
yeah.
sad.
Yeah, yeah.
We are the life of the party.
Yeah.
We are the Monster Party.
We are the Monster
That
Party.
is
Yes,
right.
we are.
Well said.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you too.
Ditto.
Well, this has been great.
It has been.
Why don't we have a toast
Yes.
Yes.
A toast.
Yes.
to
A
our
toast.
love, our special love, and Monster Party and Comic-Con 2023.
Comic-Con 2023. Woohoo!
Time for listener shout out.
Shout out.
Comic-Con shout out.
Shout out.
San
Special
Diego shout
edition and it's already sold out. Shout out.
It's, I got the last one. Shout out.
Oh, lucky you. Shout out.
And technically, this isn't a listener shout out, but I do want to express my appreciation for all the other fans, all the other geeks that we're surrounded by here.
Yes,
because
keep it alive.
It's a kind of an energy, and it's more than just a fellowship. It's a movement. It's a whole growing generational shift.
It's a tribe.
Yeah, it's a tribe. It's an absolute tribe. And it's huge. And it's all generations, all ethnicities, all genders, persuasions, and it's powerful, man. And to be reminded of it every time we come here, it's just a great feeling. And I just wanted to acknowledge and to send that energy out to all those other people who may never listen to Monster Party, but we're part of it and they're part of us, and I love it.
Hear, hear.
Yep.
And I would also say, too, that it's interesting now when I go to a convention and, when you're out in the outside world, sometimes, decorum and manners aren't really what you would like them to be. Mm-hmm. But when I go to conventions now, everybody seems to be cool.
Yeah.
And little things like when you are, you've just bought your little slice of crappy pizza and your dried out hamburger and you're looking for a little seat to sit in because usually all the seats are filled up.
Yeah.
There are people who will call you over and go, "Hey, I'm about to leave."
Yeah.
And just little things like that. And I experience more of that than anyone being rude. In fact, if someone bumps into you, usually they turn around and apologize.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see manners.
Especially today in this world with everything's going on, to have this community, the horror, sci-fi, fantasy fandom community, really does get along pretty well.
I think so.
Feels
bridge gaps.
Family. Feels like a family.
Yeah. I agree.
And speaking of family, how about the family of Monster Party merch that's available on our eBay store?
Yes. It's a close-knit family.
And we're talking about, speaking of knit, the embroidered knit Monster Party cap.
Oh,
the
right.
legendary logo. Talking about the Monster Party t-shirts, the PPE cloth masks, the shot glasses, all of which are available on our eBay store, which is called Monster Party Store. Easy to remember. And if you happen to be a Patreon member and you order Monster Party merch, we will throw in free surprise goodies courtesy of the aforementioned Biff Bang Pow Toys and Jason Lenzi and creature creator extraordinaire Ted Haynes.
Yes.
Recent guest.
Our recent guest,
Yeah.
That's a lot of good stuff right there. And then, by the way, you should get this stuff immediately because, like Comic-Con exclusives, these things are going to run out any day now.
Yeah.
So rush, run.
So, Patreon. Now, I don't know, I'm so tired lately. I know I should remember what this is, but somehow my head is full right now. It's like a hard drive that's just too overextended. What can you tell me about this Patreon?
Okay, so let's say you're driving around San Diego and you're looking for parking. You want to park for Comic-Con. And you think, what's this going to cost? $5 maybe? Well, then you get to the parking structure and you find out, it's like $50 a day.
Yeah.
So what do?
Yeah.
You get out your credit card and you pay for it with a credit card. But you still got that $5 just burning a hole in your pocket. Well, what do? You just get online and you look up Monster Party and you find out all about this Patreon thing. And what do you find out? It's $5 a month.
What?
It's serendipity.
That's crazy. You can't buy a fourth glow-in-the-dark creature for Larry for that price.
No, you can't.
I mean, it's crazy.
sure.
You can
Crazy.
You can get the foot. Yeah, you can get the foot and maybe, the little swivel part.
Well, that's a deal. How does one join?
Well, all you have to do is you go to patreon.com, you go to Monster Party, you click the join button, you follow the instructions, and next thing you know, you're going through all our bonus content, like our special shows, like Larry's Toy Time, and James' Toy Time, and Sean's
Toy Time,
and,
yeah.
I mean, all God's children have toy time.
Monster Party memories.
Yeah, and then we have our, story collections that are provided to us by father of Stephanie Bordeaux.
John Bordeaux.
Thank you.
A recent coverage from Monsterpalooza.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about like 5 minutes.
No,
we're talking about a lot of coverage.
we have basically these little featurettes now that we film, video featurettes of us interviewing people at Monsterpalooza, and it's awesome.
And pretty soon we're gonna have some stuff on Comic-Con there.
That's right. That's right. So
we're always providing you with a convention full of bonus content that you're really going to enjoy.
For sure.
Well, that sounds awesome. And hey, let's remind our listeners that you can find us on social media. We are on Facebook at Monster Party TV. YouTube is also Monster Party TV. Twitter is Monster Party HQ. Instagram, also Monster Party HQ. And hey, listen, we would love to hear your thoughts. So please send us your thoughts. Write a review. I would love to hear them, and we will read them on the air.
Not only will we read them, but Jim Jenkins will make a sculpture based on your review.
That's right.
I don't know.
On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry Stroth.
And I'm James Gonis.
Keep America strong!
And keep going to San Diego Comic-Con.
And pick up something for Larry.
I love gifts!
God, I hate you. Okay, so Stephanie is asking me how I would want to be treated in return in regards to...
If you're going to call someone a broad or a dish.
What would you call...
Son of a gun.
No. Let's say, okay, if
I'm
you're...
just asking what you're expecting.
I would...
Like, just tell me in this hypothetical transaction where you're like, hey, broad, what's up? What are you looking to get back in return?
Actually, I would want to go to English vernacular.
Oh, bird. Hey.
Well, no. I want you broad and skirt, and bird's good.
Okay.
But I would want to be bloke or cunt.
Ooh.
Yeah, no.
So now
because in England they say, look at this cunt.
Yes, but we're not in jolly old England, and you're not British.
No, but I'm saying that in a perfect world.
He also thinks he's the butcher from watching The Boys, and as long as he's not as bad.
Oh, a cat. I like that.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Geezer's
okay?
good? Oh, Geezer's great.
No, okay, so I like The
Geezer.
Boys, but sometimes I can't answer. I can't understand a fucking word that he says.
Who are you talking about?
A butcher.
The butcher.
And sometimes he talks, and I go, what is he saying? I mean, at least shave the beard off so I can at least see the mouth move.
Don't shave the beard.
Shave the beard off so I can see his mouth move.
I'm just saying, because if you say
Because
something...
that's the... You read... So you read lips?
It might be more helpful that I can understand what he's saying.
I think it is.
I'm just saying it's very important that the butcher maintain the look that he currently is sporting.
I agree, Stephanie.
Where is
you.
Shawn Sheridan? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. He's
Because
he's dropping a bloke.
Because
Are you with me on
we need to start this fucker.
the butcher's look? Yes.
I'm gonna
very
pour
vital.
myself.
Do you come and
Why
sit?
don't
Let's
you
start this geezer.
wait?
Yeah.
Do you come and sit?
I'm gonna pour myself some ale.
I'm already blitzed.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You're already
Are you going to be making crazy statements?
good. All right.
Oh, don't make that statement. Boy, this is going to be a great show.
Have we? Wait. Okay.
What's the problem now, Sean?
No, it's James.
I can hear myself.
James is ripped.
Is he all
And all he's going to do is he's going to go, see?
That's all I do anyway. Okay, that's my thing. Coasters. That's the thing.
Aha.
That's a Felix Unger thing.
We have
Coasters.
found-
I like coasters too. I agree. Yeah.
We have discovered James's thing.
I'm paranoid about, I'm anal about rings on the table. You know, I don't like ruining furniture.
Do you guys need to write some notes or anything? Do you need like a little post? Do you need like a little something or?
For what?
Well,
Yeah. Let me.
What are you writing?
I just want to write down.
Well,
some of the stuff.
I was just writing things that I was going to discuss. You know, well, I'm not like I want to have some kind of a plan. I don't want to be all hey free for all kind of. Hey.
This is normally a free for all.
Well, with some structure. Yes, I'm Mr. Fun. You're like a James Gonis.
I am really. Yeah. I'm sort of his pupil. He's my mentor.
Well, this has been great.
It has been great.
We could go on and on.
Do you want to actually start this, or do you have to write down?
Oh my God,
you have to remember what you bought. How much did you buy?
It's fucking 10:20.
I know. That's why we have to start this.
What the hell is he doing?
I don't know. He's like he bought an easy bake oven and he's making a cake.
He's signing an autograph.
Yeah,
He's writing some notes.
He forgot to do his taxes.
Inventory of his shit. Yes, I remember.
All right. There you go. You want to write your memoirs? Let's go. Come on. Shall we? Let's do it.
Test. This is
Okay,
good.
you
This
need,
is right.
Are you done writing all the things you got?
Yes, I
picked
am.
up a flyer.
Hey,
Booth 412.
Swing it.
Heaven forbid I'm trying to keep organized and keep my
Right.
things moving. I'm sorry.
It was partly cloudy when I entered the.
No. And I do have something about the weather, by the way.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
You know, you laugh. You think
I do.
it's
You know
all
what? I'm a
right.
laugher. That's me.
Oh,
That's me.
to
I like to have a good time.
You know,
I'm a laughing Joe.
I like to have a good time too.
Laughing Joe.
Laughing Joe.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
In Japan, they're called laughing tojos.
What are we calling?
soon?
What are we calling this?
Comic-Con 2023.
Yeah, that's great.
Anything goes?
No.
Yes.
No.
It is anything goes because what are we doing?
they're always
What, you're going to
anything
guide the conversation?
No.
We talked about horror. Now let's talk about comic books.
No, I'm just saying that we don't.
Anything goes.
But you got to say Comic-Con 2023.
Well, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's about
Comic-Con
Comic-Con. We're here.
2023, anything goes, right?
Anything goes about Comic-Con.
Yes.
Jim Jenkins is leaving.
Yeah,
Look at that. He's got
Don't
it.
take that. I've had it. I've had it.
It gets better.
Is there another?
Yeah, no, I thought I heard some thumping.
Wow. You know, that trick isn't going to work every time, Jim. How do I get them to stop fighting?
How can I get out of here?
Someone's having a baby in the next room.
All right. Okay, I'm
Okay,
ready.
Comic-Con 2023, anything goes.
And you're writing it down. What the fuck is happening?
You know, we're trying again. We're trying to have a structured show.
All right,
Is
all
there?
right.
I think we have enough show right now. We've been arguing for an hour.
I think we have too much.
All right, here we go. Let's do this.
All right.
Can you shut up for 1 minute?
I need an Advil.
And let him
Yeah.
do
I need
his
some
opening.
greased lightning.
And then you can laugh all you want.
God. Jesus. Did you ever throw a party as a kid?
I had great parties when I was a kid.
It's 7:30. It's time to polka. 7:35.
It was structured.
Magic the Gathering.
Pinata time, you know? Yes.
All right, here we go.
Let's
do it.
Here we go.
Yes. No. Take a photo.
Oh wait, is everybody's phone on mute?
I think mine's off.
Okay.
Or the bringers
I don't even
down.
know where mine
Because
is.
yours is going crazy with Instagram. You should take care of that.
It's going crazy with Instagram. Wow.
Yeah.
Is he that popular? How did he get popular?
Comic-Con 2023.
Sean, how did James get popular?
I don't know. It
Oh,
just
here he is.
happened.
Hi.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Who's ready to laugh?
Apparently not you, because you shut it down every time.
No, I laugh. I'm having a great time.
Okay, all right.
I'm ready. Here we
Here
go.
we go. All right, let's do it. Ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay.
Moment of silence. Okay. Before we start,
Sean
I
Sheridan.
just want to point something
did you
out.
Take a happy
I just
pill?
want to point something out. I want to point something out. We were about to start. I had my cup on the hotel's table.
Well, you know.
And he took my cup up and put it on the coaster.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to ruin this antique.
It is, you know.
It's upholstery.
Yeah.
Do you want to reframe any of the pictures?
All right.
This is going to be a good one.
Okay.
This is going to be good.
Are we
This is
all
gonna be
happy?
good.
Are we happy?
Yes. Yeah, well, of course
Everyone
we're
has their
happy.
drink on a coaster.
Wait, what day is it? It's Saturday. Okay.
It's Saturday.
Okay,
Saturday.
good.